For over 60 years, they played football on the grass on Saturday mornings at Ledyard High School. And tonight, on a beautiful evening, we dedicate and unveil the turf on Bill Mignault Field on the campus of Ledyard High School. Mignault, of course, synonymous with Ledyard High School, synonymous with Ledyard sports, the community, and creating a state and national name for Ledyard High School under his leadership. Fittingly, the field is named after him, Bill Mignault Field, and finally, after all those years of grass, they've got turf. Ironically, a soccer game will be played tonight on that turf, but we are here at Ledyard High School for the dedication and unveiling of the turf field here at Bill Mignault Field on the campus of Ledyard High School. As always, game day will be live. Casey O'Neill will have the sports doctor Keith O'Brien, the coach Rob Brule will all be here tonight to bring you Stonington High School and Ledyard High School soccer. But before anything else, we'll have a ceremony on the field. Jim Bunicor, who, of course, son of the great Jim Bunicor, coach of New London for many years, the arch rivals of Bill Mignault. They became friends. They became very close. And Bill Mignault was, of course, a mentor to Jim Bunicor, who is now a leader of sports at not only Ledyard High School, but the Eastern Connecticut Conference. The ECC, who, by the way, has taken a leadership role in the state of Connecticut for how it's handling high school sports. And tonight, we will dedicate the turf with the friends and family of Ledyard and the friends and family of Bill Mignault. Sun setting over the field. We're going to be in for a beautiful, beautiful night as summer turns to fall here in Ledyard. The turf is probably indescribable without really taking the time to look at it. The colors are striking, the beautiful yellow, the gold L on the middle of the field. It is a beautiful, beautiful sight to look at the new turf. They're very proud of it. They'll play lacrosse on this field, soccer on this field, football on this field. They will play as many of the sports that they can on this new turf here at Ledyard High School. And tonight, we will have a soccer game between the premier team of the Eastern Connecticut Conference, the Stonington High School Bears, and the Ledyard High School Colonels, who will be trying to pull an upset here on game one as we return however long we have here in high school sports. We will take every opportunity that we can. And while we wait for them to take it down on the field for tonight's ceremony, I'll bring in the coach, Rob Brule. Rob, as always, it's a pleasure to have you. And we're about ready to unveil the turf here to the world. And I think it's ironic that it's a soccer game being played here on Bill Mignault Field's turf for the first time. But it's going to be a beautiful night. The two teams are out there warming up right now. And when you as a coach look down and see turf, what does it conjure for you?
Well, I was Ledyard not too many years ago. So for me, coaching at Waterford High School when Waterford got the turf, this brings back some really good memories. We were able to practice at all hours of the day. We were able to get more kids involved in the girls soccer program at Waterford High School when I coached. And then parents got a chance to come to games. Case, and your high school kid, you want your parents there. But with those 3:30 games, no one could show up. Like they were working. So turf changes the game not only in the rain and colder weather and all that stuff, but it also allows parents to be here. Get those lights on and play.
Yeah.
And I think that's great.
Now, we're old, but turf and lights have made the biggest difference in our generation as our children move through their sports lives. Turf and lights have really changed the landscape. We're gonna send it down.
And what a beautiful place, huh?
Oh, it's perfect.
I came here late, but what a beautiful, beautiful venue.
If you grew up in southeastern Connecticut, this is not the Ledyard that you remember. It is big and vast and new and beautiful. Although the animals were barking earlier before the game, so it's still Ledyard. We're going to send it down to Jim Bunicor as he welcomes us here tonight to Ledyard High School.
Testing. Well, good evening, everyone. We have an absolutely beautiful night. Forgot I had a mic cover, so I can take off the mask for a moment. We have a beautiful night for ribbon cutting, and even more so for our home opener. Thank you, Stonington, for joining us this evening. I wish you the best of luck as long as we win. We're going to start this evening. We're graced to have Alexa Rose, a 12th grader in chamber choir, to sing our national anthem. I direct you to our nation's colors at the top of the scoreboard. Alexa.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets are glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Your mic's still off, Case. I think it's being are they gonna come on? Yeah. We're gonna wait.
Navigating microphones and masks.
Sticking with Carlos.
Alexa, that was absolutely beautiful. We have so much amazing talent here at Ledyard High School, and thank you for representing your school so well and our country. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today for this ribbon cutting ceremony for this Ledyard High School track and field project. I get the privilege of recognizing many of our local volunteers and servants. I first want to thank Mr. Fabry, the chair of our Board of Education, along with our other Board of Education members who joined us today. Can you just kind of wave to everyone? Thank you. I want to recognize our friends on Town Council, if you could wave to us. I'd also be remiss if I didn't recognize our athletic boosters who are here today, also serving on the Board of Education, but also the president of the Ledyard High School Athletic Boosters, Mr. Bronner, and our fellow boosters. Thank you. Ms. Fagan, our wonderful principal. Mr. Bunicor, our athletic director and assistant principal. And then I also have to recognize Mr. Donaldson, our director of facilities, who every day was out here making sure this was perfect. So thank you, Wayne. And then last but not least, by any means, Ms. McGarry and my assistant who make sure everything runs smoothly. Thank you, Jan. So Mr. Bunicor said I had exactly a minute, so I hope the welcome didn't count. But as you can see, this is an absolutely amazing field. This $2.5 million project has been a point of discussion here in Ledyard, I think, for the last 15 years. I can't count how many people have called me and we're just in awe that we were able to make this happen for our community and for our students. I know Mr. Cherry noted it was on our capital plan for about 12 years, so thank you to everyone who made that possible. I'm really proud to have been part of the team that made this significant project possible. There is no doubt we have amazing coaches, amazing adults working with a remarkable group of student athletes, and I'm happy we've been able to give them a facility that they deserve, that they can be proud of, and that they can practice on and play on day and night. I'm happy that we have the ability to expand its use for soccer and lacrosse, and that both our boys and girls get to enjoy the benefits of this amazing turf. And of course, our track team no longer has to dodge the cracks in the corner or some unusual fence lines. We're really lucky. Led by our Board of Education, this was truly a town-wide team effort with our town council friends to make sure that our student athletes and community had a safe and enjoyable field for this multi-sport use. I just want to remind everyone, because I think this is really important to note, that those who serve on the Board of Education and town council, they're all volunteers. They're members of our community who take their personal time to serve, and each of you have my deep appreciation for giving so much to ensure that our community is a great place to live. And then lastly, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our parents and our community at large for their support and our ongoing efforts to support our students. On behalf of the board, I'd like to just present a few mementos. So first, our amazing principal who has never stopped dreaming about having a beautiful facility, Fagan. And Mr. Bunicor, Jim, you excellence always. Thank you so much for everything you've done for our student athletes. I'm glad you could see this turf. I'd also like to give this memento to our friends on town council for all your support of this effort. And so, Mr. Washington.
Almost looking up your shoulder.
And then representing our permanent municipal building committee, I'd like to present this to Mr. Palmer Erb, who serves on the Board of Education and also our building committee, so thank you. And then certainly, last but not least, is the chair of our Board of Education, who again spearheaded this, Mr. Anthony Favory. Thank you, sir.
I will tell you, Rob.
Okay, thank you.
Your mics are off, the camera's off.
Okay, thank you.
Connor, you got us?
So I was told I had about 20 minutes to give an opening remark, so I hope you guys don't mind. Just joking. I cannot tell you how long-awaited this ceremony has been and how excited I'm to be here this evening overlooking this incredible complex. Like many, I followed this project closely and was always astonished by the incremental transformation I observed each time I came down here since the project kicked off January 27. Before coming here this evening, I again looked at the drone footage I took up to before and after and still cannot believe this incredible transformation. The track and field project, as the superintendent mentioned, has been on the capital improvement plan for the Board of Education for the last 12 years. And needless to say, when this started to become a reality, many of us on the board were completely surged with energy that this project was going to officially kick off. This would not have been an option initially had it not been through the hard work the superintendent and his team did from a budgetary perspective and the additional monies received, which was a major funding mechanism for this project. Additionally, through the ongoing partnership and collaboration that the board has with town council, we were able to work together to make this become a reality. I would like to give a few thanks, first and foremost to Sam Kilpatrick, our former Director of Facilities, for jump-starting this dormant project and doing the initial scope work, the superintendent and our finance director for developing the strategy for how this project will be funded, the members of the Board of Education for supporting this project and unanimously moving it forward, Councilor Soms and the finance committee members of town council, Chairman Davis and all members of town council for voting in favor of this project and moving it forward, Mayor Allen for his advocacy and support for this project, to the entire Ledyard community for approving this project at the public hearing and giving our community and students an incredible facility, Steve Jeskowitz and the members of TNBC, including Kate DePalma-Erb, who is here this evening, and Bob Guerrero, both of whom were board members that are representatives to this committee and overseeing the project. And certainly not least, Mr. Donaldson, the Director of Facilities, for all the incredible work he did overseeing this project, while also doing his day job, which is managing this district's facilities and crew. I'm so incredibly happy for our Ledyard High School students and the coaching staff, as they have an incredible multi-use field to play on, and for the parents in this community to cheer on our kernels, as well as a place for the entire community to use. Thank you again to everyone who supported this project and the entire community.
Connor made it here, so Connor's going to operate that motion, so we'll have a second Connor account. So I'll just, I'll keep you guys up to date with what cameras live. Carlos number 5.
Thank you. So, as I look around here, first thought that comes to mind is, wow, this is not incredible. I still can't believe it every time I drive by and stop here and look. So, first, I do also want to thank Mr. Hartling, Mr. Butercore, Mr. Fagan, Town Council, our full Board of Education, and the residents of Ledyard for your vision and support that made this day possible. This has been long time coming, and we're finally here. When we started discussing this project in the fall of 2018, I had expectations on how great it's going to look, but all those expectations have been exceeded. This is just incredible. Not only does Ledyard now have a multi-use turf field and a new track, but we also were able to accomplish it with a responsible budget. This is something that's difficult these days, so everyone here worked very hard to help us save within that budget. On a personal note, my twins were 3-sport athletes for all 4 years here at Ledyard High School, and when we would travel to away fields, they would look and say, wow, look at this field, you know, maybe someday we'll have one of these. And then now and then my son would say, hey, wouldn't it be great to have the soccer field on school property, like off-site? So now that we have that, I suspect towns who come in and play here will say the same thing. Go Colonels.
Good evening. It gives me great pleasure to stand here tonight as we officially open our new track and synthetic turf facility at Ledyard High School. It was about 12 years ago I attended a meeting at Central Office to present a PowerPoint to our Board of Ed Finance Committee regarding the benefits of a synthetic turf facility here at the high school. And here we are tonight. It has been worth the wait, without a doubt. Tonight we see the belief and hard work of many, as well as the support of a community, come together to provide a first-class facility for our students and student-athletes of Ledyard High School. Bill Midnault Field, as well as our new track, has now become a source of pride for our entire town. I would like to thank our entire Ledyard community for their support, as well as our town council, Board of Education, athletic boosters for their unwavering support throughout this process. Thank you to our project architect, Castle Booth Associates, and contractor H.I. Stone & Son. You were a pleasure to work with. I would also like to take a moment to present a special gift to 3 individuals who were critical in the project getting underway and seeing it through. On the shadow box gifts that I have for these 3 gentlemen, it reads, I quote, "To accomplish great things, we must dream as well as act." Together, our district had a dream, but more importantly, we made it a reality. And it started at the top. I would like to thank our superintendent, Jason Hartling. He listened to my concerns about our facilities, or lack thereof, and he made things happen with his belief, guidance, and perseverance. And without his leadership, we would not be here tonight celebrating this historic occasion. Thank you, Mr. Hartling. I would also like to thank Mr. Michael Brawner, a supporter of Ledyard High School athletics as our Booster Club president. His thoughtfulness and vested interest in all things Ledyard High School athletics do not go unnoticed. Mike? And finally, Mr. Wayne Donaldson. He stepped into his role as Director of Facilities as our project was underway, but he kept things rolling and we did not skip a beat. Mr. Donaldson? Thank you, gentlemen. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce a student athlete, our goalkeeper, a member of our athletic department class act council, Blake McLeod.
Good evening, Ledyard families and fellow community members. I welcome all the guests, athletes, and spectators to our new home field. This addition to our athletic facility is an essential milestone for the athletes and students alike, a place where all teams can play. We have a saying here at Ledyard High School, 12 towns, 4 grades, 1 identity. Now we have one field to call our own, another reason to bring us all together. Everyone at the school can call it ours. Every student, faculty member, and coach will feel that this is our home turf. This is what the new facility means to me, a place where the student body can assemble as a whole under one identity. Some members of our community will play, while others will be enthusiastic and supportive spectators. Eventually, every student will graduate on this turf. We will all come together in the end to become part of Ledyard High School's identity. I hope this field and track will endure for years to come and bring a sense of positivity and pride to future classes. So on behalf of the student body, we thank all of you for giving us this great athletic facility. And now, let's have a great, memorable first game. Thank you.
All right, last speaker, and then we're ready to get this show on the road. Amanda Fagan, the principal of Ledyard High School and also a proud graduate and student athlete from the class of 1994. And I can tell you that I'm excited for a few reasons to be here tonight. The first reason, of course, is for my students. I'm thrilled that my cheerleaders, my marching band athletes, or activists, musicians, my football players, my soccer players, my lacrosse players, all of these students will have the opportunity to play here, to have their skills, their talents, and their hard work showcased in a facility that's worthy of them. The second reason that makes me so excited is that this field, this opening, marks the first time since our school's opening in 1963 that our female athletes in lacrosse and soccer will have the opportunity to be showcased in the main stadium with the grandstand under the lights as they deserve. We are so grateful, as you've heard, we're so grateful to the many, many folks who helped keep the wheels moving on this project, from the town council to the facilities to the Board of Education to, of course, our outstanding superintendent. And now, when teams from around the state come to visit the yard, they come to visit one of the best stadiums in the state. So I now would like to invite our superintendent, Mr. Jason Hartling, our board chair, Mr. Anthony Favory, and town councilor, Mr. Michael Washington, to grab a gigantic pair of scissors, and let's cut this ribbon. Oh, we're changing it. Oh, all right.
Step up to the ribbon. I'll count down, but I think that Ms. Fagan and Mr. Bunacore deserve to cut this ribbon because
been something you've been thinking about for a long time? Let's face it. I gotta face this way because this side. Nope, this side. I'm gonna face the bleachers.
Casey,
You got
just tell me
masks
when you
on.
want to come back on.
All right, I'll count down. All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1.
With that, the turf at the place they call the Yard. And I'll tell you, if I could have an administrator like Amanda Fagan in my corner, I'd listen. I mean, she could talk to me
We'd like to
all
thank our
day long.
visitors,
The
the
passion, the
Stonington Bears.
energy, the
We mixed
excitement,
them up today,
the
sort
commitment,
of.
the investment.
Mighty
I could go on and on.
Let's
And
inaugurate this field. Thank
she
you
made
all so
a
much.
point that I think probably went unnoticed. Sure, it's great to have a turf field here that can get used by the entire student body, but she made the point. It'll be the first time in the school's history that the female athletes that had to play on a field off the main field will have an opportunity to be showcased on the main field. So, this field matters. It's got the bleachers, the grandstand, it's the lights, and for the first time, some of the female athletes that never had that opportunity will be able to play here. And I tell you, that's got to be a special feeling. This place has really changed, Rob.
Casey, I agree with you 100%. I think that coaching girls for 20 years at Waterford High School, we were in a field far away. We were out near the minor lane, and I know exactly what Amanda's talking about. I was blessed to be able to coach Amanda. That tells you how old I am. Incredible player. People forget she was a Division I scholarship player. She's an incredible leader. She's an incredible person. And for her to make that, comment about the girls being able to play here in front of us, in the middle of campus, like everyone else, I think it just says a lot about her and how big this moment is for Ledyard. Calling it the Yard, call it a palace. This place is beautiful. Great memories are going to start tonight. Everything from the stands to the press box to the location. Parking is easy to get to. Like, everything about this is just state of the art. And when I heard her say that about the girls being able to play and having an equal opportunity, it says a lot. Girls' game has come a long way, and I'm so proud of her.
Well, it's becoming sort of commonplace, and Ledyard is one of the schools that's now jumping into the arena of school expansion, particularly of the athletic facilities. We've seen them at Waterford, we've seen it at New London, we've seen it at other schools. I could go on, and I go back again. We are old, Rob, but I go back. My first 3 years of high school, we played off-campus baseball at Veterans Field, which isn't even a baseball field anymore, until Salamonte Field was finally built. New London worked for decades to try to get the turf and the lights and the press box and the bleachers, and it took a long time, and now that facility's there, and now exactly they're experiencing the same thing, right? Girls soccer, boys soccer, all of these other opportunities for kids to get onto the main field, because for years the only thing that got played there was football because they didn't have the facilities. So,
True.
And it is cost effective. You're seeing more and more places do it. And when I look out at this complex, I can envision the track meets and the soccer games and the lacrosse games, and like you said, with the lights added to the turf, they take weather out of the mix for sports like soccer. You're not going to have to play in mud and icy fields. It's a big step up, and the Ledyard community came together, and very proud of their facility.
Well, you think about it, Casey. Think about, Coach McNaught, who we both know really well. He was a great man. He'd be proud. He wouldn't be so proud that soccer's playing on is the first event. But I'll tell you, he was a great man. And I'll tell you what, right now he's looking down at Ledyard saying, "This is awesome. This is great for the kids," because that's what he was all about. And I think this is just one step closer to Ledyard, getting to where they need to be. And let's be honest, education's competitive now,
Yes.
and sports plays a large role. And this is going to do nothing but attract even more student athletes to this, this great place, this great school.
Well, you heard in his comments, Blake McLeod mentioned that how many different cities are represented, how many different towns are
what do you say,
represented.
12?
12 towns, 4 grades, 1 identity. But Ledyard is a school of choice. It does have the VOAG program.
Yep.
And so and sports are competitive, and this certainly will help in that. It's I don't know if fitting is the right word, but it's of note that we were broadcasting a soccer game for game day on the day that Mr. McNaught passed, and we brought that we were, bringing that coverage on that day, and it was certainly a sad moment because he is an iconic figure.
Yeah.
And though we can joke about the fact that it's soccer, I think above all else, especially in the climate that we are engaged in currently, seeing kids on a field, I don't care what sport it is, they could be doing hula hoop right now. Just seeing kids on a field is something that is probably therapeutic for a lot of people right now. And so the ceremony is over. We can transition now into the concept of game day, 2020 version, live at Ledyard High School, and we are brought to you by the Burns Agency. Like game day, the Burns Agency is always local and live. We focus on the local community, and you will always get a live person on the phone. So remember, you buy better at Burns. And by Waterford Dental Health, voted the #1 best dental practice 6 years in a row by the day's Best of the Best Reader's Choice Awards. Casey O'Neill, along with the coach Rob Brule. The sports doctor is hovering down on the sidelines. Mike DeMauro, Peter Wappy, all the guys present tonight to launch the inaugural game, and we'll take them while we can get them, Rob. And what better, when you do a ceremony, you're supposed to schedule a cupcake.
Correct.
Ledyard just went the other direction. They scheduled
Give us the best.
The best of
Hey,
the best.
give us the best. Give us the standard to which we all are trying to get to. Who better to play in your first night than the defending state champions? And I'll tell you what, Billy and Paulie, those guys are great friends. So this is going to be a great game. This is going to be a great game no matter what, because as you said and alluded to, pink elephant in the room. Well, guess what? These kids are out here playing tonight, and we're going to enjoy this night, So good for them. I'm sure we'll get into the precautions that they all took later in the game, but tonight he wouldn't ask for a better opponent to play than the Stonington Bears.
Well, it is soccer night here at Ledyard High School, and it's going to be a broadcast different than any we've done before. And when I think of different things, when I think of things that are unusual or not like other things, I think of the sports doctor.
Yeah.
And he's roaming somewhere down there. Sports doctor, where you at?
I thought I saw him.
I'm at the 50-yard line on this brand new turf, and I almost feel like going barefoot. It is beautiful down here. Coach, you're right. Scheduling no cupcakes right out of the gate. Stonington, the defending Class S state champions. I had a chance to talk to Coach Paul DeCastro before the game, and he said, you know what? We are state tournament championship team caliber this year. That's how good we are. You got to remember this, too. They started 4 sophomores last year, so don't think the cupboard is bare over at Stonington. Now, Ledyard, Bill Glennie likes his team. He says the key to tonight is we have to get off to a good offensive start and put a little pressure on them and make them feel like they're under the gun a little bit. But this is a fantastic matchup, guys. Good to see you up there, Case. Coach.
Sports doctor, I tell you what, while a little piece of me misses you, it's nice seeing you hundreds of feet away.
Thanks,
The
Case.
social distancing has helped us tonight, Case.
So, he makes a good point. When we broadcast Stonington last year, and they were so good, we kept talking about how young they were, about how they had this dynamic sophomore class. Wynn Hammond and Will Sowen and Cole DeVoe and Sam Montalto, and Billy DeCastro. We kept saying, man, these guys are sophomores. What are they going to be like next year? Well, it's next year. And now they're state champions on top of it. The one area, though, sophomore goalkeeper, and that's always, isn't that always the great equalizer? You can have a great team, and as good as their defense is going to be, and they're probably not going to let a lot of shots, Brandon Tavares is going to be in the spotlight tonight, coming in onto assuming the goalie role on a state championship team.
Yeah, it's a good point, Casey. I think a lot of great play ends up with a counterattack, and if you don't have a solid goalkeeper in there, this is why you see probably here his mother sitting over there by herself over there, because goalkeeper parents, I give them a lot of credit. There's so much pressure on them. But I'll tell you what, the one thing that Coach DeCastro does is he prepares his kids, and it's a game. Games are fun, so I guarantee you this sophomore is going to be ready for the challenge, and they got a great little community over there. But you're right, he's got enough juniors and seniors around him in the back to take care of things that he should take care of, and I'm looking forward to seeing some good stuff out of him.
Well, one of the things I have learned as I took my very limited soccer knowledge, which consisted of run ball, kick ball, run ball. Prior to working with you, and I should shout out to Colin Delaney as well, who joined us last year as well. One of the things that I really learned was on a great team, on a a team the level of Stonington,
Yeah.
making saves is perhaps the least thing that the keeper does. There is an entirety of decision making that goes into it. The communication between his defense and himself. There's going to be someone out there on the Stonington defense who's going to be talking to him all night long. But not only the decisions of where to go and what balls to go after, but the transition from him into their offense.
Correct.
I had no idea, and I learned over the past few years how great teams look at a stalled offensive opportunity from their opponent as an opportunity to attack in the other direction. So that's really what I'll be looking at tonight. He'll have some jitters on some saves and some things like that, but how well do they transition out of their own end? Because that's where he's going to have to listen to his veteran defenders.
Yeah, and I think with a team like Stonington, he doesn't have to punt the ball. He's got the luxury of roll it out and let's play the game. And I think, a lot of high school, teams don't have that luxury. I mean, this is a well-disciplined, very talented, quick, technical team. They're going to be on the gas. And when I talk to Coach Glenny, they're going to be coming out and going after it. They've been sitting there with 30 days of 10, practices with 10 players and 30 minutes of all the technical and 30 minutes of fitness. I think both of these teams are going to come out. I think the goalkeepers are going to play will play a role. You will see that early on because jitters come through. But I think with the Stonington team, what he has in front of him, I think you're going to see Casey, a goalkeeper, come to age pretty quick.
Well, you look on the other side of things with Ledyard, and the two things that stand out, man, are they young. I mean, they're starting multiple freshmen. They're starting, Elijah Stein starting as a freshman, Peyton Luther starting as a freshman. And then you look at, a sophomore, a junior. They are a very young team. They got the veteran goalkeeper. And then I look over at them, and they're tiny.
They are.
They are tiny. And then I realize, because they're all freshmen and sophomores, but they're tiny.
They are.
Their size of the Ledyard team is definitively smaller than the size of the Stonington team. And in soccer, that doesn't necessarily translate to something important. But you look at a player like Sam Montalto. I mean, he looks like a Division I soccer player, just in body type, that long, strong. And then you look at over on the Ledyard side of things, and they look like a little water bugs,
right.
kind of jittering around, and they can. We've seen players from the ECC, dynamic little players.
Well, Tyler last year, Fidrich,
There
kind
you
of go off to UConn.
Perfect example.
Smallest kid out there, but one of the most dynamic. But I think, Casey, what you're alluding to was not only the starters are young for Coach Glenny, he's got his first 2 or 3 kids off the bench are freshmen and sophomores. So you're right. This is, some people would call it a rebuilding year. Coach Glenny loves the game so much, he never thinks it's a rebuilding year. He can't wait. He loves the game. He's, 18 years into this? Yeah. So I'm happy for him. He's one of the good guys in the game who really loves his kids, and he's seeing this as, hey, let's see how good they are, and let's have a great game. And looking forward to this.
I was told years ago by Gil Vargas. He said we don't rebuild at New London. That's not something we do. We he said we
reload.
Yeah, we take up. But he said we take whatever we have, and we win. Yep. He's like, I don't understand conceptually how you just concede. As soon as you say you're rebuilding, you're conceding something. He's like, I'm not. If the year that we started 2 freshmen for the first time in school history, he said, we're going to win. It doesn't matter what these are now. They're Whalers, so that we're going to win. I think that mentality for Coach Glenny is very apparent. The age is out the window. You're a Ledyard soccer player. We're going to win. We're going to be competitive, and we're going to play hard. And I don't think he's going to. I think he'll demand that and nothing less. And I find it fascinating that these two teams, including the state champion Bears, are young teams. Yeah. We're going to see a lot of really good soccer from a lot of young kids tonight.
I think so too. I think they're going to be excited. I think don't be surprised for a pretty chaotic, little anxious first 5-10 minutes. But I think I think this game is going to go back and forth. I think they're going to go after each other. I think it's going to be counterattack, early on. I think there's going to be some mistakes because listen, these guys haven't played. We're going to be sitting here announcing a game where they've had one scrimmage, maybe, and I think it's just not going to be the same as it is in years past. And I think it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch a defending state champion coming in with most of their kids back and playing on the field of Ledyard High School, which is a game changer for the town of Ledyard. And these guys, and I'm looking forward to Coach Glenny, having his kids prepared to come out there and have a great time tonight.
One of the hardest things in all of sports, and it's hard for young athletes to know until they're in it, is the idea that when things get faster, and when things get more tense, and when things get more physical, and when things get more pressurized, you need to slow down.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do, but the great ones do it so well. The easiest thing tonight will be for a defender to just kick one as far as they can, and when the ball's rolling, to just go and get rid of it. For the keeper to just get it and punt it away, because it's a release. It's like it's out of my feet. It's gonna be the player that settles it on their foot, takes and is able to take the pause,
right,
absorb it, and distribute. Because in the early going, those nerves are gonna be. You're gonna see a lot of punt and run, because it is sort of the settling in of a game. I look forward to, and I think Stonington will be immediately in that mode. But settle it, move it around, and a very strong midfield for Stonington tonight, I think will be the difference in terms of just controlling the tempo of the game, the energy of the game, and we'll see that. When you talk to the coaches before the game, what did you get there? They mentioned that they're both very good, but what do they like about their teams?
Well, I think they like Coach Glenny said he loves the kids, he loves the chemistry. He says, with the leadership going on with his seniors, Blake and Nick, people that are just doing a great job as leaders. They're anxious to play, but they're saying the chemistry. Coach Glenny was talking about the chemistry of this group. He says that they get along really well. It couldn't be a better group to work with. So I think that alone, but that's just a product of Ledyard athletics. Like, if you think about it, all their sports. They're normally these hardworking kids, surrounded by some technical kids, and they never give up, and they're just good teammates. And I think that work ethic and that pride they take in their teammates and their sport, I think that's where Coach Glenny feels really good about this group. Even though they're young, he feels like here's an opportunity for these kids to grow. And I think that's been his strength all along as a coach. And obviously with Paul, I know both of these guys really well. With Paul, when you're coming from, now you shifted from a really good team to now you're a defending state champion. We just talked about that a little bit, because when I left, that was like, I know what he's talking about now. Like, I kind of know, like what you were talking about, like when you finally win it and you understand it. He's proud, but the page has been turned. Like, he's had that moment, he's enjoyed it, but now he's ready to turn the page and have this next chapter written. And I think that's what's great about Paul, is that we're not settling right now. We're going to go after it. We're going to play hard. We're going to play well. And I think he wants to prove something. It wasn't a one-shot wonder. So
yeah, there's a definite burden that comes along with being a state championship program, and it's a burden that the programs that embrace it tend to do very well with maintaining it. And some you can see the one-hit wonders, the ones and done. Yeah. And I don't mean that you can't be an incredible, successful team within your conference. Stonington has been the elite of the ECC for a number of years, and other teams come in each year, challenge them, whether Waterford, a Fitch, a Ledyard. I mean, teams come in every year and challenge Stonington, but Stonington has been the premier team for a long time. They've been the best, but winning a state championship changes things. Now you're a statewide program, even though they were always that. There's always the bias that goes against ECC schools, that goes against small. You're Stonington. My goodness, where is that, right?
True.
Isn't there wine there?
Yeah, they go right to Google Maps.
That's
and they go, how long is it going to take me to get there?
So, there is a difference now that Stonington will have. They're no longer the best of the ECC. They're state champions on the field, on the turf tonight. And I really look forward to. These are the moments. These are the storylines. These are the aspects of sports that I love more than anything else. Is the emotional and sort of the head games that go along with sports. And tonight we're going to see a Ledyard team in beautiful, beautiful uniforms. By the way, I should once again thank Athletic Director Jim Bunicor for making sure that I can see.
Correct.
That's always number one in
all
of my.
It's helpful.
So I can see the numbers. I have no excuses tonight for anything whatsoever. Stonington, on the other hand, has decided to go and
with white, with the white.
Cream on white is such a good look when I'm trying to broadcast from hundreds of yards away. Thank you.
I think we had a comment box last year for Stonington, didn't we?
We did.
All right, they didn't listen. They're state champs. Hey,
well,
go ahead, Case.
We're underway. Here we go. Ledyard will have the first possession, and they'll play it right back through veteran keeper Blake McLeod. And what do you see formation-wise here from Stonington?
Well, Stonington's looking like they're a 4-1-4-1 right now. If you can see that little holding, that holding defender in front. I think he'll try to attack outside backs. We'll get up and attack. But he did say he'd go to a 4-4-2, but 4-1-4-1 was pretty much what he'll play, which is unusual, at this level. But Coach DeCastro has played at a high level, and this is a sophisticated group, so they can handle this type of rotations, attack, because it's all about, shape. So 4-1-4-1 for Stonington. Looks like a 4-2-3-1, for Ledyard right now. So, and everything happens through Nick, as you know.
Yes. Early going, the Colonels have not yet advanced the ball onto the Stonington half of the field. They're playing entirely in their own end, and Stonington doing a nice job keeping it in the middle and pressuring at all times. And there finally, Nick Washington. And there's our first opportunity for the Stonington keeper, and looks like Brandon Tavares was very calm, cool, and collected, came out and knocked it away, and we'll have Ledyard on the offensive with a throw in here on the near side.
And Brandon is now exhaling very well right now. He's breathing now. He had his first touch on the ball, and that's sometimes the biggest thing.
Into the middle of the field it goes, and down the side for Ledyard goes Tyler LaPearl, and into the middle of the field. Dangerous ball, but very calm, cool, and collected. Put back in on goal, and Tavares is there to calmly clean it up for Stonington. And like you said, he may not punt. And there comes a nice throw, nice hard throw on the ground, but it's picked off by LaPearl.
Yeah, LaPearl read that well. Good athlete.
Little overlapping run there. Washington did a nice job, and it'll stay with Ledyard.
Yeah, I like how Ledyard's doing this right now. They're looking to just kind of hold it. You don't see a lot of pressure on the ball by, either team right now. Just feeling each other out first 5 minutes.
They're going to need Washington to make a play in the middle of the field, and that's their bread and butter, is get the ball in the middle now. Down the sideline, streaking goes Montalto, and a nice sliding save there as McLeod came up to clean it up.
Great save. He read that well. He needed to. Sammy was on his horse and got around the corner. He needed to be there.
I feel like we have watched the literal physical development of Sam Montalto over the years. I mean, every year his body changes, and it should. He's no longer 12, which is like what I feel like he was the first time we saw him. But no, I mean, for the first time we saw him, he was probably 14 years old, and he's 17 years old now or whatever it is. But his body type has just changed each year, and he looks like a strong player out there now.
Yeah, he's got the body to hold the ball back to the goal. Runs off the ball well. He's got good pace, and he made a commitment. Got some stuff going on now.
Dahl outside looking to try to beat two men. There's going to be someone open. He does. He passes it over to Fernandez. Now Alan Fernandez and Dahl. Nice little nifty move, trying to get back to the middle of the field, but a good step in by Fieldsend for Ledyard. Right back at it. Go the Bears. Under the outside, nicely done, and see, there's that kickball that I was talking about with Ledyard. There's an opportunity there to just settle it for 1 second, turn and distribute. But I think they know, they don't want to give Stonington any breathing room. As soon as they can just clear it out of there, they're going to try to. But I'd love to see Ledyard settle it just for a little bit.
Yep. I think in the defensive third, they're going to not play. They're not going to risk it. They're going to just kind of, be pretty direct. Live to play another day. This could be a long throw. Right
here comes Cole DeVoe, and he's on the roof of the high school right now trying to get as much room as he can.
Yep.
Long throw in the middle, dangerous, high in the air.
Well won.
Nice job by the Colonels to get a head on it.
Yeah, Cameron, with that header out, he's going to have to play a big game in the back.
Washington put a nice ball way out in front. Stein, the freshman, running onto it, but can't get there in time, and Stonington will quickly transition the other way.
I like that. Stein's a good little player. If you watched, the first few minutes, he defends well. He's patient. Gets up in the attack. Good to see for a young player.
And if you're wondering, yes, that is a donkey, a braying donkey. You might have picked that up in the background. We are, of course, at Ledyard High School, home of the Vocational and Agricultural School. And just out of the reach of Montalto.
Offsides.
And Ledyard will have the ball.
Yeah, Ledyard did a nice job of pulling up right there. You know, Sam had his back to the play, and yeah, they pulled him off. That's smart play. You know, Cameron's doing a nice job back there as a central back, you know.
Reynolds straight down the left hash, and Stein's going to try to get there first for Ledyard, and he lets it play to the back to Lessig. And little chip, little run now. Washington, here's a chance. Speed on the outside, cuts it, pushes it, and a nice save made on the outside by Tavares. But what a nice skill play there from Nick Washington.
Yeah, just such a smooth player. Timed his run perfectly. Let's think about that ball that was played into him behind the defense. That was a great ball. I bet you he wishes he had that again.
You know, like any other sport, Montalto wins the ball there. Montalto on a run. Montalto trying to get a little space. Goes to the right side, puts it back in front. Dangerous, but it slides to the outside. Lindenmeyer puts it back on the line, and it's going to be a goal kick for Ledyard.
Well, isn't that how it goes, though? Almost have a great opportunity to score here. You come down. Well, guess what? You know, it's going to be end-to-end.
You know, like any sport, it's not a surprise that the players at this level emulate and the things they see in the professional game.
Right.
And the new moves. You know, the first time in basketball that someone did some crazy Euro step. High school kids want to try to emulate that in every sport. Well, Washington's attempt on goal there, it was a lot of in the old days he would have tried to stop and fire a shot on goal, but all he did was use the ball's own momentum to change the geometry of it with a little, just put his foot on the ball and let the ball, so that the keeper who's coming hard in one direction has to change direction, which is really hard to do. And it would not have been a dramatic bullet into the goal.
Yep.
It would have been a simple little floater over the goalie, and it would have been very elegant. But that's something you see in the professional game where they're just trying to get any little body part onto the ball to just change direction. Like in hockey, a deflection is the hardest thing for a keeper to defend.
Yeah, you're right, Casey. And I think what you just saw with Nick using, great players use all surfaces of the feet. And that's why you see Nick is such a great player. That's why he's getting looked at by schools. He can play with both feet, but he can also play with all surfaces of the feet. And that just a whole nother level. If he waited, let the ball go across his body and took one with the left, the defender shuts it down, the goalie shuts it down. We call that a cheeky move, and it was, he probably should have buried it. Probably should have put it away. But, hey, to the goal, Brandon's credit and goal, he made the save.
Ball in front. Someone's got to get a foot on it. No one can, but it's off the football goal post, off the head of Stonington, so Ledyard will have a goal kick. Looks like Sowen got the head on the ball, but put it up high.
Yeah, so
nice flick. Washington trying to run on, but he's not going to be quick enough. Tavares will come and bang it the other way.
Like a good sophomore goalie should do. Live to play another day.
Especially when you got all the talent. You got all this talent around you.
Right. Right. And if Ledyard can keep them on the side, on one side of the field, like that ball, that's the ball that Ledyard has to make a conscious effort to stop. Don't let him switch the point of attack in the back in the defensive third.
Sowen trying to run through on a ball down the right side, but he couldn't get there in time. And a really nice job, Ledyard, with Owen Lessing just shielding him just so he couldn't get on the ball.
Yeah, strong.
So it's going to be a
Cole again. Cole's going to get some fitness in tonight.
Just going sideline to sideline here. He's the designated. It's a set play though. That's
it is.
Another ball in front, and we're going to get an offsides, or we're going to get a push on. Yep, we're going to went over the top of Reynolds. So Reynolds took a spill, and they will go the other way. That's another way that by the way, that the high school game has evolved so much through the years. The idea of set plays and specialty players. Having one person throw it in from everywhere on a scoring play is not something that you would have seen. How many years ago do you think that sort of the idea of sort of like the specialty unit? Here's Montalto with a chance on the nice defense down there by Reynolds.
I did it, Casey. Oh, here we go.
That's
This could
by
be,
Burton.
is he coming in again? All right, well,
Yeah.
Cole comes in. I had a kid named Jen Ward. You know, Ken Ward's daughter.
Yeah, I know, Jen.
Did a flip throw. She would throw it like 35, 40 yards. Of course she's going to take it every time. Every time. Just like Cole's doing right now.
And
It's a weapon.
Yeah, it really is. It's changed the game. The throw-in from down here never used to be a scoring play.
No.
And now it's a legit scoring play. It's like a corner kick.
Yep. And that's why, you know, that's why Cam has to do his work.
Fighting for the ball and just over the top of the net on a bicycle kick. Montalto had a chance. I'll tell you what, to be that big and be that athletic, that just doesn't seem fair.
I wouldn't know.
And he's got a great head of hair on him too. Just not fair, Sam.
I talked to Coach before the game, Coach Glenny, and he said, you know what, Cameron, number 17 for Ledyard, the center back, needs to play a big game. And that's probably for those reasons. Cole coming in, he's got to be strong in the air. He's got to win those balls. Those are 3 or 4 scoring chances already. And if you don't have someone win the ball in the air, it's a long day or a long night.
You can see Ledyard already settling in, by the way. Coach Glenny talked about there's a chance on the outside for Ledyard, puts it back in the middle, and nice job. Stonington clears out through the middle. A ball through, looking for Montalto. But
Well
McLeod,
played.
nicely done. You know, Coach Glenny, you said they needed to settle in and get some offensive, a little bit of an offensive rhythm early on, and they're starting to, pick their chances here.
The longer this game goes 0-0, the better Ledyard's going to feel. And I think they're doing a great job, staying organized.
Stein on the outside. We've seen, nice move. He megged him going through Stein, and it's cleared up. Well done, but soccer players' worst nightmare as Tobiasen got megged. Ball through the legs. Nice job by Stein. Through the 5-hole.
He's a dynamic little player. I like him. Middle third of the field. He makes things happen. Doesn't mind to defend. So that's a little too easy right there. You can't leave DeCastro wide open there in the middle of the field.
Yeah, too much space there that time. The one thing you can't let Stonington have is space.
Correct. Can't make it easier for him.
Here comes DeVoe.
Ledyard's doing a nice job of getting numbers behind the ball, but you also have to, once you're behind the ball, you got to find your mark. You got to tighten down the defense a little bit. Deny that turn when at all possible.
DeVoe with the throw in for the Bears. Puts this one right directly on goal, and running up and banging it out with his head is Reynolds. And so we'll do it all over again. A little closer this time. This one really is like a corner kick.
Yeah.
It's almost the same angle. We'll see if he goes distance or he goes back hard. The last time he's going straight to a man, or we're going to just put it in the air, run a set play. Pushed out. McLeod did a nice job getting a foot on it. And Stein for Ledyard. There's that skill.
Yep.
Washington, but Stonington keeps it in. Montalto with the ball, dangerous, cuts to the outside, rips, and a save by McLeod, and cleared out by Ledyard. Beautiful job by McLeod.
Great save. Low hand, right hand down, and tell you what, and you watch the Ledyard defenders. They defended as a team, cleared it out. Nice job.
And Montalto ripped that low ball. I don't know if that was going to be able to sneak in far post or not, but it was certainly a dangerous ball, and McLeod did a wonderful job.
Blake's come ready. McLeod's ready. Those are big save. Ledyard needed that, and I'll tell you what, keeps this up. It's going to be a real competitive game here.
A little shank that time though that's always the danger of the punt. It's less accurate.
Yep.
We'll have a goal kick. It was one of the few things I never liked the goalies that punted because of the unpredictability of where I never felt good when our keeper was punting the ball because I just never knew where it was going to go.
Yeah.
And too many weird bounces off of those things.
Well won there by Washington. Look at that.
Oh, nice step in that time. Unfortunately got a hand on it, but Jonathan Clark for Stonington stepped in and prevented a nice run down the side from Ledyard.
New goalie, young goalie, get the ball in the box,
put
pressure on him.
I couldn't agree more.
You know.
There it is, and it's headed out by the Bears, and Stein whiffed on it as he tried to put it back in. And
still might be their ball.
Yeah, they're going to give it to Stonington.
Yep. I think this play down here with Dieter, number 19, clearing that rebound. That was great defensive play just to go back to that goal-scoring chance for Stonington. He did a nice job of covering that, saved a goal. No rebound.
Ledyard, nicely done. Field send, keeps it in and off the side foot, so Stonington will retain. High, long throw and headed back in by Burton. Now played through the midfield. Burton steps to it again. He was looking for Washington, and a little shoulder thrust that time from Clark, and instead it's put in on DeCastro, who just steps through. And here's that decision, that transition we're talking about, and the young sophomore said, nope.
I'm going to punt it.
Yep, they were, well, because Ledyard pushed up, took away his transition outlets, so he's going to punt, and nice, that's a nice, safe, high punt. And there's that bounce I talked about. Weird things happen off those bounces.
Good ball there, simple.
Oh, nice move. Peyton Luther, only a freshman. Tell you what, Luther the freshman and Stein the freshman have definitely shown veteran mindset and skills here in the early going.
Yeah, I liked how Luther, number 12, I like how he made a diagonal run across in front of the defense. Easy to stay with runners if they go up and down the field straight. Really hard to follow them, Casey, when they're going diagonal.
Yeah, I found it was difficult when they were running straight as well, Rob. But that's probably why I stopped playing soccer at that point.
Well, that's probably why you started kicking everyone.
That's exactly right. I was a shin hunter from the very beginning, Rob.
Yeah, but you were good at it.
Montalto plays it back through the midfield, and running onto it is DeCastro. DeCastro casually knocks it off of Lessing, and it'll stay Stonington ball.
See, it's a little bit too much space.
Yeah, got to get on him. There it is. Now, DeCastro takes it down to the corner. That's right. You heard them shout, play the whistle.
Yep.
Which I can't begin to say in all sports. Play the whistle. Because what you think is going to get happen often does not. That being said, played in a basketball tournament in Avon last year, where there were 4 basketball courts in an indoor facility.
Oh God!
And all you heard were whistles.
Yeah.
So,
try going to a field hockey game.
Field hockey, it's all in the same. It's all in one
play
game.
The whistle, you won't play.
No, in field hockey, you just sit down and say, "Well, just let me know what the whistle's about this time."
I would do the same thing with our teams back when I coached.
Reynolds does a nice job poking it back out. LaPearl for Ledyard, and out of bounds it goes, and it will.
I think that's a
stay Ledyard
matchup
ball.
that you're going to start seeing. I think you'll see LaPearl start, taking a little bit more charge over there. I think he's got an opportunity over there to create some good opportunities for Ledyard.
Well, that'll be the interesting thing for me too, from Coach Glenny's standpoint. You know who your best player is. You want to work it through Washington whenever you can.
Right.
But if you discover a mismatch somewhere, a chink in the Stonington armor where you think you've got a guy who can match up,
right?
Then the hardest thing to do is to change your, the thing that's always been successful for you midstream, and I think Coach Glenny certainly has the the courage of his conviction to do that. But if they find something, it'd be interesting to see if they go to it. You mentioned the LaPearl matchup on the outside might be something that works for them.
Yeah, I do. I think these great players just need one opportunity.
Washington fires, had a chance, point blank.
Great opportunity there.
That's about as good as you're going to get, but there was right, in his tracks, Tavares.
Yep, positioned well and held on to it.
Well, that's the thing I liked about it, was he caught it very casually too. How many times do you see the hands go up and they're just content with, I'm just going to knock this thing down, and then you get that rebound opportunity.
Exactly.
That was just very, very calmly done.
Yeah, soft hands, See, that's LaPearl getting his, starting to put a little pressure on over there.
Sports Doctor, what are you hearing down there?
Yeah, head coach Bill Glennie here. Bill, last 2 trips, your best offensive looks of the game.
Yeah, good check attempt by Nick right there, just right at the goalkeeper, unlucky. But we're weathering the storm right now, and hopefully we can kind of correct things here.
You talked about a little too much space out there for the Stonington players, too. You like to see your defense close out a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we're leaving DeCastro wide open in the middle of the field. We're just making it easy for him, so we got to do better there.
All right, thanks, Coach. Case?
Thank you, Sports Doctor, and we can't thank Coach Glennie enough for reiterating what we were hoping he was going to say, which is giving DeCastro too much space. My coach up here had it first.
Even blind squirrels find a nut there, Sports Doctor.
Yeah, but I think that's, I think you can hear that Coach Glennie is not happy.
No, I think you know what, his formation is matching up really well with Stonington right now. You got those 2 guys in front, that 4-2-3-1. It's really causing some matchup problems for Stonington right now. They've got bodies behind the ball, playing organized, and I'll tell you what, Cameron, number 17, winning those balls in the air. I'm telling you, just don't get greedy. Get the ball in, get it out, get it to your guys up front. Pollard, get it to those guys up front.
More than halfway through the first half, I think, here's a dangerous McLeod put it up in the air, and now it's going to land outside the box. We're going to a bump on the outside. We're going to get a whistle for that, and yeah, it's going to go Ledyard. Little bump there on the outside.
You'd like to see Blake come out there stronger, quicker, go out there and go get it before it even came in. And I think he knows it too. I think he's gauging the lights, he's gauging the turf, he's gauging his opponent. But in terms of taking control of his box, don't wait, go after it, go get it.
Yeah, he was a little hesitant on that one. Held his line a little longer than I.
Easy for us to say while we sit up here, right?
100%.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity for Washington. Washington, nicely done as the Bears quickly collapsed on it. Tobias in that time.
Strong defensive play right there. He needed to be perfect there, or that was a goal.
I think Coach Glennie's thinking to himself, I've had my best player with 2
great opportunities.
Great scoring chances.
Yeah.
And, that's probably his disappointment more than anything, is that he knows that it's maybe not sustainable. Here we see a nice Stonington chance here. Run through. Drew Johnson with the ball. Johnson. There's a nice little overlapping run. Johnson puts a ball back in the middle. And a step in by Reynolds for Ledyard. And he'll try to head it out. But Johnson puts it right back in again. I think he realizes that it's not sustainable to keep, to keep Stonington's scoring chances down.
No.
They're going to have them. So when he had 2 chances for his best player, he's thinking, I got to get one of them.
Right. No, I agree with you, Casey. I think you can't give us a chance. You can't give freebies back. You can't just give Stonington any room.
And what a difference 1-0 Ledyard would be in this game right now.
Yeah, sometimes poking the bear is the best thing either. So
literally poking the Bears?
Yes.
Well, yeah, you might want to let this thing linger as long as possible. But I'll take the 1-0 lead. Thank you.
Yeah, good point. See, this is what take away half the field. Yeah, Glennie. Coach Glennie is now just letting him come to him a little bit. Stay organized. Force the ball over the top or out wide.
Tobiasen was just nice, calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
Sowen now. Nice chance in the corner.
Nice ball.
That ball was well struck. Opposite field and push it in the other direction. It'll be LaPearl now for Ledyard. LaPearl puts it out in front. They want to use the speed, but can't get there. They want to try to use the speed that they have up front with Washington and Pollard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you, they matched it that time. And they played it back to, to the goalkeeper, to his right foot, where he could play it out. Just those small things.
Little things.
Small things that make things a lot easier. It's not a coincidence when you win games.
Tell me when. You ready? Just give me a wave or something.
Stonington through the middle of the field. There's a nice ball.
Great ball.
And good step in.
Great defending. Yep.
Sports Doctor, what do you got?
Head coach Paul DeCastro. Coach, 15 minutes left to go here in the first half. Are you happy with where your team is dictating pace?
I think we got to do a little better job at the back. You know, I think we've made some poor decisions in the back, and that's given them some possession. So I think it's a pretty even game right now. I think Ledyard's playing well, and they've created some chances too. So we're looking to do a little bit more possession here, building out of the back. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Case?
Thank you, Sports Doctor. Yeah, I mean, I think he hit it on the head, the same thing we saw. I think he saw the 2 point-blank chances, and he knows he dodged opportunities on the other end. He knows Washington puts those away more often than not.
Correct. Yep.
Wide open space, and Tavares will come off his line.
Yeah, it's a nice idea, though. You know, he's looking for Washington. Washington made a great diagonal run, the attacking third. Just the ball's a little heavy, you know. It's playing on turf, you know.
I'd like to see Ledyard, when they have the ball, I'd like to see them use Washington once in a while. I don't want to say as a decoy, but go outside with the ball once in a while. You saw how good Stein was out there. Every once in a while, instead of just poking it down the middle and letting Washington run on it, go outside with Stein and see if you can catch Stonington maybe overcommitting to the middle. You might end up with a little bit of space on the outside to kind of change the field and reset a play, because they seem right now to be very focused on long balls down the middle, trying to get Washington and Pollard to run on.
Yeah, I think they got to use those 3 guys playing underneath Washington. Get those guys, attack, draw the defenders in, and then play the ball, you know, like they just did.
Pollard. Nice job holding firm. Stonington stayed right in front of the ball. Now in the other direction.
He's one-on-one.
Here comes Montalto. Point-blank range. Lets it rip. And a great job from behind. Joseph Burton never quit on the play and got there before Montalto could let it go.
Well, think about it. That's what you want from your senior. You know, your senior on your home field. That was great play by Burton to come down and shut that ball down. Never gave up.
We were all waiting for Montalto to just let one fly.
Right, and we're not out of the woods yet.
Nice low ball. Ding. Oh, well done again. Calm, cool, and collected. Reynolds that time just put it right back out as Stonington had a chance. Those balls that roll through the middle, nightmare. You can never see. You can't see them. You don't know where they're going.
Yep. And you got to just pray that your teammates are following their marks, and you know, there's just a lot of things can happen.
Get a foot on the ball.
Here we go. Here's a set piece right here.
Deflected in front, head ball high up in the air. McLeod goes up and wrangles it for the Colonels.
Look at you, Casey, back then in the day.
It did look a lot like me.
Holding on to things.
Yeah,
springing your step.
I'm glad you recognized that, because that's exactly what I was thinking.
I always do. That's all I think about back then.
I was 6'2" when I played goal.
Oh, you're the best.
Ledyard catches Stonington in a
nice little move there. But this is where your outside back needs to get up into the attack a little bit, just a little bit wider, you know. Ledyard, get a little wider, give him a safe play out wide.
Well, here's the first time Ledyard's had a chance in a while to run something of their own on the offensive side. We had a shove in the back, so they're going to let Reynolds.
Little flick on, little second run behind, you know, and you get in there with the trees. This is not a small Stonington team.
No, high ball, and there come the Bears, head on it. And played out of the back now. Ledyard
Good
will
ball.
Switch it over. Fieldsen puts it back outside. Ledyard doing a nice job with LaPearl on the outside. You like
Still
that matchup?
I love it. I love the matchup. He's got busy feet. He's quick.
And there's a transition now for Stonington going the other direction.
It's Castro.
Looking for that middle ball.
Well done, just to keep it.
There's the ball onto Montalto's feet. He flicks it to himself, goes outside with a left foot. Burley, and a sliding save from McLeod. That was Montalto just being a bully right there. I love that. I mean, that's what you got to do. That was a flick to myself, and I'm just going to physical my way to the goal, and McLeod did a nice job.
He is a north and south strong number 10. I mean, that's what, you know, Sam has done, and he continues to get better and better. He rubs off of defenders. He times runs well, but he is a north and south guy. You know, he's not wasting time out in the corners and outside the 18.
And I wouldn't want him to. You know what I mean?
No.
Everybody's got to know their strengths. And sometimes pitchers want to play shortstop and shortstops want to pitch.
Yep.
And sometimes, you know, strikers, guys who can score goals, they want to get cute, right? They want to it's, the Montaltos want to play like the Fidriches. No, play like Montalto.
Yep.
Do what you
Be
do
you.
well. Be
Yep.
you.
Yep.
That's right.
Exactly. And when he's acting, everyone else is reacting,
There's a
Look at
chance.
this.
Point blank. Lets it fly. A save from McLeod.
Best chance of the night right there. Great save by Blake.
But you see Montalto starting to exert his influence now. He is now kind of taking over a little bit when he gets the ball on his feet.
Yeah, you can see where Ledyard's losing sight of him a little bit, And when you start doing that, you start chasing the game a little bit. Just keep him in front of you, deny turns. Everything will be all right.
He wants it. He wants it far post. They don't see him. Nice job. Step in by Field Send.
Yep.
Oh, he had a chance there.
Did Ledyard get even smaller out there,
Yes.
Coach? Oh.
Well, that's a tough offsides call on Washington. I didn't see it, but the referee is right there on the spot. He's right on the 40-yard line.
Yep. As long as they're in the right position,
Yeah.
it's hard to argue. You
Yeah.
know, we still do as coaches. We still argue, but he's in the right place.
I have an umpire friend of mine who loves it because when he umpires our games, I always tell him, if you're in the right position, I'll never argue with you. And so sometimes he'll be in the right position and he'll miss what I think he'll miss. Dangerous from DeCastro, kind of teased a little bit there,
I'll
but
tell you, Pollard never gave up there.
no.
And he almost got there.
Nice reversal of fields for this job by Stonington. Heading down the sideline, Hune.
Ooh, lunging.
Alan Fernandez deflection in front, and
What a
beautiful
save!
job by the Colonel defense.
What a save.
Going in the other direction now. Here's Washington putting it ahead for Pollard. Pollard, nice move, has a chance. Oh, one more time. You got to use your left there, son.
Well done.
You got to use your left. He wanted to go back to the right to get the power on it, but
Yeah.
corner kick Colonels. To finish my point, whenever he's in good position and he makes a mistake, I just go, I respectfully disagree. And he laughs every single time because what else are you going to say? He's like, he was right there.
Yep.
And that was the official. He was right where he was supposed to be.
And you're always politically correct. You're always nice.
I'm always
be
good,
always polite.
Be good to
Always
officials.
respect-
They'll be good. They'll be good to you.
And they'll just quit. And you won't have a game.
Always be good to officials, though. Everyone thinks berating the officials is the way to go. I say give them the honey.
Or you're never going to have them. They're all going to quit. So you got to take care of them. Be nice for the longer, the long-range plan. Keep them in the game.
Field Send, another freshman, Sebastian Field Send. Yes, that's how the Colonels got even younger. They put in another freshman.
Right.
And there comes Montalto. Dangerous. Is he going to go to his left or stay with the right? Stays with the right. Looks for a little bit of space. Nice little nifty move. Goes back left and scores!
Yes.
Sam Montalto, the junior. Unbelievable move. He put it on the right, moved it back to the left, and stuck it through the wickets of McLeod for a 1-0 Stonington lead. 6:49 remaining in the first half.
Just hard work there. He didn't give up. He stayed with it. And goal scorers, what do, man? They score goals. You give a guy like that, a chance inside the 6. Well, he's going to put it away. Good goal.
Yeah, there are. We talked about the themes of sports, and it transcends sports. Scorers know how to score. They just know what to do. And Montalto that time, you saw him starting to take over, physically take over, where he was just becoming more and more decisive. And we kept waiting for him to switch it to his left. It never quite materialized, and he knew better than us. He knew the precise moment to switch to his left and put it through McLeod's legs.
And you just can't score if you don't shoot. And that's. And think about his teammates trust him. They were feeding the ball, they're getting on the ball, and he did his job. That's your job. Attacking third, finish.
Washington had a little move inside, no whistle. Inadvertent, they're saying.
Now he might be off.
I think he was, but. So we're going to get a throw in on the side from Ledyard.
Ledyard just has to stay with this. Get out of the half. Keep playing well.
Yeah, Ledyard's got to go in 1-1 or 1-0. It just can't be 2-0. That's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
There's that space through the middle that we talked about. Way too much. Drew Johnson through the middle, and a nice job getting the head on it is Reynolds. Starting to see Ledyard get a little sloppy in the defensive end now, not really controlling the ball.
Yep, I think this is where you start getting into, you know, fitness, conditioning, last 5 minutes. And most goals, as you know, first 5, last 5 minutes, you know, it's a dangerous time of the game. So Ledyard just needs to grind this out. Let's get out of this half 1-0, 1-1. Easier said than done.
High throw in the middle, and it'll roll off and out, and it will stay with Stonington. 1-0 here with 4:40 remaining in the first half. You are watching Game Day live on theday.com. Casey O'Neill, along with the coach, Rob Brule, the sports doctor, patrolling the sidelines for us here. 1-0 Stonington over Ledyard. And a beautiful job by McLeod as he Dikembe Mutombo'd that one. Went up and just swatted it out of bounds.
That was well done.
A meaty palm got on that one.
Tell me that's not a weapon, though, that throwing?
Oh, it's fabulous.
Because they had it last year, too. You know, remember that kid was throwing it in 40 yards.
Corner kick for Stonington. We've seen them use the short kick. This time they elect to put it far post. It's there. Who's going to desire the ball more? And then a 60-yard field goal goes wide right.
I think it's a good, you know, that corner kick, you saw, you know, a prepared team, too. 2 guys on the ball, Ledyard over there with 2 defenders. Like this early in the year, this early, to have a team that's that prepared, Coach Glennie having them prepared. It's smart soccer, smart defending. Because if not, they're dribbling in.
Nice flick from Washington. Pollard puts it ahead, almost had a chance, but it went off of a hip of the Bear. Here's a good opportunity in the other direction for Stonington. They'll run it back through the midfield, looking for a little overlap. Well done as Reynolds sends it back out for Ledyard. Oh, nice job run through that time by LaPearl. Jimmy called that field send. Field send was just relentless.
Timed that well.
Down under 3 minutes remaining here in the first half. You can sense Stonington started ready to up them pressure here with 3 minutes remaining.
They are playing a little quicker, throwing it in a little quicker.
Sports Doctor, what do you got?
Yeah, hey, Casey, coming off that last corner kick, Coach Paul DeCastro said, boy, going up 2-0, going into the locker room would be nice, and you can feel it down here on the field. Stonington really amping things up on the offensive end. Coach, big difference going up 2-0 and 1-0, hey?
Absolutely. 2-0's it's also a scary score for many, too, because, but I'll take 2 more than 1 any day.
Well, there's a thing about, in all sports, again, themes in sports, protecting a lead can take you out of your rhythm, and you can very dangerously kind of lose the cohesion very easily. See it in all sports. How to protect a lead in baseball, you start getting, you get too sort of laid back. In basketball, you don't go through your offense anymore. It's in every sport. Protecting a lead can be dangerous, and 2-0 is protect the lead time. You see a lot of teams start to get kind of complacent, settle back, and they quit on offense.
It's the scariest score in soccer. You know, by halftime, you're up 2-0. I don't want to go 2-1 because 2-2's right around the corner.
I was down 9-0 to Stonington one year. That was the scariest score because I was in danger of double digit. So I don't know about 2-0. I thought 9-0 felt pretty bad too.
An ice cream cone. You do 10, you're retiring, buddy. We call that hanging the cleats up.
I said the great Joe Pont, who was playing at Stonington at the time.
Remember that kid?
Yes, I'd say he's still in my nightmares, Coach.
God.
He had a chance to score his 8th goal against me that day, and I think he intentionally just kicked it to me because even he didn't want to put up the double digits that day. Oh, nice job again. Reynolds has played really well in the back line.
I tell you what, he's been the difference. You know, you're not going to get an easy one. You're not going to float one in the air. Hey, this is where you can kind of take a chance. Hey,
Washington will throw it in for Ledyard. Washington and field send.
Trying to get a corner out of this. Trying to make something happen.
LaPearl put it on the far post, and a chance there for the other field send, but couldn't get enough on it. Little change of momentum. Field send on the outside, 30 seconds, but he's off.
okay. He was there, but that one looked a little tighter.
I respectfully disagree. 17 seconds and counting here before halftime. 1-0.
I'd get bodies behind the ball. I'd get bodies back and just preserve this. Get it up and out.
Yeah, going 1-0. Do not allow this to happen right there. Get rid of it. There's the opportunity. Montalto, left foot, shoots, and scores with 2-1-0. A dagger to the hearts of the Colonels as Montalto puts it in with 2 seconds remaining in the half, and the buzzer sounds. 2-0 Stonington, and oh, the pain of that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of, you get bodies behind the ball, you just kick the ball out, and you get into half. It's a young mistake, though. It's a young team. Gonna have to go through these things,
Yeah, we saw it happening in front of us. We all said, just get rid of it. Don't be fine. And unfortunately, he was fine, and it went right to the wrong guy at the wrong time.
Right. And now there's their 2-goal lead, and sometimes the heads go down now.
Well, we are at halftime, and it's time for us to let you know that Game Day is brought to you by the Burns Agency. In your neighborhood, taking care of your home, auto, business, and life insurance needs since 1932. At the Burns Agency, you will never get a voicemail. Always a live person, and you can remember, you buy better at Burns. And by Waterford Dental Health, where your smile and your health are our top priority. So we want to welcome our game day sponsors, the Burns Agency and Waterford Dental Health, as we are now at halftime here at Ledyard High School on the turf of Bill Mignault Field, where the Ledyard High School Colonels find themselves down to the most dangerous score in soccer, 2-0 here as they roll into halftime. Casey O'Neill along with the coach, Rob Brule, and your thoughts of what you saw there in that first half.
I thought exactly what we kind of thought. I thought two teams that came out really hungry. I was very impressed with Ledyard. I must admit, being such a young team, and to go up against Goliath and in your first game, I just saw Ledyard have a lot of great opportunities. Those 2 or 3 opportunities that they did have, this could be a 2-2 game. So they're not out of it, but psychologically, it's very tough. When you get to this level of high school play and that second goal coming in, I tell you, it makes it very hard on kids psychologically to come back and kind of overcome that. Do they have enough? Is their conditioning good enough? But it won't be because of Coach Glennie not having them ready, not having them prepared, not having them ready to go out for 40 minutes and give the best you can. I was very impressed with Cameron. 17, he did all those little things back there. Clear the ball, get the ball up and out, win balls in the air, be a physical presence. And you know what? Listen, Stonington's a very good team, Case. It's not like you're coming in here with, an evenly matched, skilled personnel. Let's be honest. Stonington has a lot of good players, and I thought without that last goal, it's a 1-0 game and a half. Well, that's a whole totally different game.
Yeah, the message at halftime, because in our experience, I think you'd agree, 2-0 generally ends up 2-2 or 5-0, and 2-0 or 5-0, 2-2 or 5-0 tend to be the results of a 2-0 game, right? Ledyard's going to be working like crazy to try to chip their way back in, and when you do that, you expose yourself often to the possibilities of breakdowns in the back. And the game really should be 1-0, but that 2-0, that's that heartbreaker there at the end. And we did see Montalto starting to take over a little bit more and more. Coach Glennie's, there are no moral victories, but he's in somewhere in his mind right now. He's in competition mode. So right now he's not thinking about this, but
Correct.
He's going to reflect at some point and say, hey, you know what? We're not right now today. We're not as good as that team is. That's a defending state champion team. They got a bunch of kids off that team back. We're not as good as them right now.
Right.
But we were able to match them. We were certainly not overmatched by the state champions.
Not at all.
So there's a building block to be had from this game. Now Stonington, you could hear that Coach DeCastro was not thrilled. I think if you're going to see one thing different in the second half, I think you're going to see a tightening up of the Stonington defense on the back end, which is going to make the scoring chances for Ledyard even more difficult. So
I think you're right, Casey, and I think he might even go to a 4-4-2. He might just do something a little bit to give to give Sammy a little help up front, just for movement. I think if you noticed, Sam didn't go outside the 18s, the width of the 18s. He's well coached. He gets it. but at the same time, it's a lot of up and down the middle. I think, this is where 2-0, a Coach DeCastro can now look at it and go, all right, who's my next opponent? What do I need to do under pressure? Can we execute a change of, if we're down, pretend we're down 2-0. So I think, coaches like DeCastro, great coach, he'll make adjustments now to how do we become a better team now? How do we get a little bit more width? I would like to see Stonington get a little bit more width, stretch the game out a little bit, let them chase a little bit, see if they can get the Ledyard team to chase a little bit more in the middle third of the field, just to work on that type of stuff. But hey, he's a state champ, and he's one of the best players and coaches I've ever seen. So I'm sure he knows what he's doing over there. It's just I like to see a little bit more width, spread it out, play a little bit cleaner, play a little quicker, and kind of get it to the next level in that sense.
Well, in the world we are currently living in, 2020 has been anything but normal.
Yeah.
I don't think normal is a word that holds much weight anymore. It has been pleasure. It has been pure pleasure to be able to, masked or socially distanced. But it's been a pleasure to be able to watch a high school sporting event go off the way this one has, and the way people have responded. It's strange. There's no one. There's a limited amount of people in the crowd. There are, the amount of people that can be here is limited, and where they sit is limited, and we're masked. It's definitely a strange environment, but when the kids are running on the field and the ball's in play, you forget all about that. So as has been the case many times, high school sports in this area has allowed us a brief opportunity to sort of put ourselves in another place, and I'm personally very thankful that game day has been given the opportunity. So anybody who's out there watching us right now, we are thrilled and proud to be able to present whatever slice of high school sports we can. Our plans here on game day are to bring you high school sports as long as there are high school sports. We intend to bring you the hybrid football that is being played, the 7-on-7 and the lineman skills competition. We plan on bringing you boys soccer, girls soccer, volleyball, whatever we can bring you as long as they're playing. We'll be here to do it, and I can say on behalf of everybody that we're just thrilled to be back to doing what we love to do. And for all of you watching at home right now, I hope this is the first of many that we get to do as summer turns into fall here in high school sports.
Casey, you couldn't have said it any better. I think that little sense of normalcy, for all of us, kind of, in my role as a little different role in my town, just seeing all the destruction that this pandemic has really had, but to just for one night to forget it, for one night for these kids to be out here playing, for parents to have their masks on in the stands, to watch their child perform. And I think this is it's an amazing night on so many different levels. I think when this is all done, no one's going to look at the score, Casey. I think they're going to look at, we pulled it off, we did it safely. And I give a lot of credit to Coach Bunicor, give a lot of credit to Principal Fagan, and the entire Ledyard family over here. It's been done right over here. I'll tell you what, you look around and how much they've taken everything into consideration. This is just why we live in such a great area, and I'm so happy to be here with you, Case, to just thinking that we're doing this right now. There's no better place I'd rather be.
Well, there's only one place I'd rather be, I have to admit. It's next to my buddy, the sports doctor. What do you got?
Hey, Casey, from a distance, Coach, we got two teams here, one to my left, the Ledyard. Coach Bill Clenny talking about halftime, attacking from the sides. This is a very, very good Stonington team up the middle, so let's make it wide and let's attack from the outside. Now, the other side, sorry, my mask is kind of in and out here, kind of like your broadcast, Casey, but over here to my right with the Stonington Bears, they're talking about, you know what, when the pressure's coming on number 9, when he's going straight down the middle of the field, he's getting doubled and triple teamed. So Stonington is talking about finding people on the outside, to the left or to the right of their star player, opening up the field for all their players, not just keying on number 9, but some halftime adjustments on both ends. Both coaches still coaching really hard, Rob.
Yeah, sports doctor, that's exactly what I would have probably thought. I think they want to get the ball a little wider. They want to stretch this game out a little bit, play a little bit quicker. And now the jitters are out. Jitters are done. This is soccer, and You know, they're not thinking pandemics. They're not thinking COVID. They're thinking, I'm playing Stonington. I'm playing Ledyard. Let's get out there and play hard. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if Washington and Pollard. I was very impressed with those two. That two combination right there can play against anybody in this league or the state. They're not done. They're gonna get on the board. They're gonna be trouble for Stonington. And if you can double team Sammy, it's the only way you're gonna stop him. You can only hope that he just, you don't turn. Don't turn. Prevent that turn, and you'll have a chance at kind of win the ball and go in the other direction.
Yeah, you can't let him get square.
Can't keep going.
No, he's
downhill.
Right, exactly. Like a running back, the shoulders get square and he's impossible to bring down. Well, you can't get the ball off his feet.
No.
And he's so physical, so you just can't let him get square. You got to keep on his shoulder. Then when he's sideways, you got to just make him stay that way.
Let someone else beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let someone else beat you.
And I think that's a great point that Coach DeCastro was saying. Like, if right now Sam has scored one goal on sheer will, and the second goal on a mistake and sheer will. So, but he has to recognize that over the course of time, when there's 3 and 4 people on you, somebody else is open. It's impossible for there not to be. So, the wherewithal to maybe push it outside, and then you might have a real good look by somebody. That'll be interesting to see. And I think we mentioned already that with Ledyard, they were starting to get a little too preoccupied in the middle. So, Sports Doctor, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, listen, I'm thinking along the same lines you guys are. And, Sam was the one that said in the huddle, listen, guys, they're pinching down on me, so let's look elsewhere. So, in the Stonington huddle, not only is Coach Paul DeCastro a coach on the field, but the players are too. They communicate and speak together very, very well.
Thank you, Sports Doctor. Yeah, we're going to see some adjustments here as we're about to start the second half, and game day is brought to you by the Burns Agency. In your neighborhood, taking care of your home, auto, business, and life insurance needs since 1932. At the Burns Agency, you will never get a voicemail, always a live person, and you can remember always, you buy better at Burns. And by Waterford Dental Health, where our entire team is dedicated to providing you with the personalized, convenient, and affordable dental care that you and your family deserve. Well, we're about to start the second half here as Stonington will run up on the ball. And, we said that that Ledyard started to get a little too Washington Pollard heavy in the middle.
Yeah.
We said, maybe to get it outside and look for them to get it out there to Stein and somebody to try
to get the ball out wide and stretch them a little bit. Make them run sideways instead of straight up and down the field to defend. Easy to do that.
And you want to give those two guys in the middle a little bit of space when they get the ball back on their feet. In the middle of the field, it's a little more congested, especially if they're pinching in.
Yep.
You get it out wide, like you said, stretch it a little bit, and you get your chance to have a little space. I'm sure Washington would just love one more chance with a little bit of space.
Yep, and I think that's where you're coming out. Stonington came right out with the 2 outside backs, a little higher up and wide, heels on the touchline, kind of coaching. And I think that's the way they need to do this. I think it's going to open up the game. Sam's going to make some diagonal runs out wide to create some space behind him. But it starts in the back, your shape.
Stonington in the white uniforms with the, I guess we'll call them gold lettering. And Ledyard in the home blues as we start the second half here. 2-0 Bears on top. The Bears now going right to left. And they head upfield with Lindenmeyer putting the ball in the middle, and Stonington already on the attack here to start the second half. I like that diagonal ball going in the other direction. Tobiasen plays it up down the right sideline looking for Montalto.
Yeah, it looks like they shifted over to a 4-4-2. Stonington did. Looks like they got Cole moving up a little bit, so give a little help up there, give a little shape up there. Now let's just see how the backs, do they move as a group? That's the next challenge for a great team. Can you move as a group? Can you stay compact as a group?
Bears with a control. Beautiful move to Castro down the sideline. Left foot and a kick. Little punch out by Reynolds.
Yeah, he wants that cross. He wants that again. He had his guy. Someone was running at the 12. But not 2 guys out. It could be a little. Yeah, you want to have 2 guys. Another good coaching.
Corner kick, Lindenmeyer waiting to receive.
So this could be an in-swinger. Kid might just stop the ball and an in-swinger comes.
There it is. High, far, post, corner, head ball, front. McLeod, a brilliant save, and cleared by the Colonels.
What a great save. What a great ball by Stonington. Tough ball there.
And the Bears will take their time, play it back through the defensive end.
Yep, and now they're working on getting their shape. Yep. Spreading things out a little bit, opening up some opportunities, passing game.
A lot of space in the middle, Montalto, and one step too many. I think he could turn and let that one fire, to be honest with you.
I agree with you. Great defending, too. Great defending to step in like that.
Oh, yeah. If he gets in, I mean, he's
not a small guy.
No, I mean, I think at the 18, he's point blank, but I think at the 20, he's got to let it go.
Yeah.
Not to mention, now that they've moved players up, a shot creates a rebound for other players to crash.
Right.
Because he's not alone up there anymore.
Right.
So now with all these additional offensive players, let one fly.
Yeah, exactly. If this is where you get these flicks, and this is where Cameron's been good. Cameron's been strong in the middle for Ledyard in the back. He needs to win these balls. He needs to get the ball up and out. It's a big ask.
Here comes DeVoe with the throw. Head ball up top, still bouncing, and a clear. Nice job by Washington to bang that one deep. Little cut by Stein.
Yeah, now you're starting to see him spread out a little bit, a little composure. A couple forwards up front. There's the diagonal out wider. That opens up the game a little bit for Stonington. And Ledyard's playing well. This is smart defending. Keep the ball in front of you.
I like that ball. Nice stout defense, however. LaPearl stood his ground. Clark puts it back in the middle.
Well done. Well won there. Senior defender.
Oh, a little touch. Can't quite get it. Little miscommunication in front. And a point-blank shot. He sailed it high. Sowen had a chance. And he just went up high. Kicked the field goal, but unfortunately no good. We'll get a goal kick. Or are they going to say it was deflected? They're going to say it was deflected. So it's going to end up being a corner kick on the far side. So a break for the Bears.
Yeah, with this kind of, with this height, with this strength.
There it comes, middle of the field, in front.
That's where you need your goalkeeper to come out there and get that one.
No clear, and a goal put into the back of the net. Billy DeCastro took it off the inability to clear from the Colonels and fired it far right side, beating McLeod for a 3-0 Bear lead.
Yeah. Hate to be critical, because at this level it's hard to see it in front of you, but, you'd like to have the goalkeeper control the 6 if you can, own everything in it, and you need help from your teammates too. But great finish. Corner.
Yeah, once the ball was on DeCastro's foot, you could see that there was no chance.
Yeah, his eyes got the size of saucers. He was dialed in.
I really like the spacing Stonington's shown here in the second half. I mean, they're getting far better opportunities. It's not the Montalto show right now. They're having far more, space to run.
Yeah, and I think, Coach DeCastro probably had some nice, encouraging words for the team at halftime. And to spread out and to play as a team and to give good, better shape like they're doing right now.
I love that Montalto was one of the people that made mention of the fact that, guys, if they're crashing down on me, other people are open. So just the awareness of a guy that just put in 2 goals to say, guys, it's not all about me. I mean, that's a very, very heady.
That's a good point. Nice ball there. He might get there. Yeah, he is.
Lindenmeyer will control for Stonington. Lindenmeyer, little ball in front,
nice
spin
turn.
move, shot just sails up over the top. And that would have been into the far right corner. Beautiful rip.
Is that by Town? Another effort by Ben Town, 6. Great effort in the box. Can't see those numbers. We're going to have to talk to DeCastro about this.
That was Sowen.
Okay. Great turn. Great effort there. Good defending. Way to win it back.
So if 2-0 is the most dangerous score in soccer, what's 3-0?
Well, it's not as dangerous.
Like I said, 2-0 often becomes 5-0 before you know it.
Yeah, it does. And 2-1 gets really scary for the other guys now.
Oh, yeah.
So
Put right back in, left foot, shot, and a goal! Pouring it on. The Bears now up 4-0. And the hat trick for number 9, Sam Montalto, with his 3rd goal of the game. And a bow to the crowd, his parents, and game day, as he puts in his 3rd of the game, 4-0. And like I said, 2-0 becomes 5-0 pretty quickly. We are well on our way.
yeah, absolutely. And his eyes are saucers. He's ready for another one. And like I said, you can't give a guy like that a chance to turn. You can't give him space. There needs to be someone on him at all times. Let someone else be. But DeCastro scores his goal because of his comment at halftime, probably.
That's correct. Great job. Nice run down in the far corner by Stein. Puts it in the middle and very calmly cleared. There are times where the sports doctor has a coach, and we're going to go to him right now. Sports doctor.
Well, Coach, you guys come out guns blazing here to start the second half. What's the difference?
I think we're playing better on the ball. We're making better decisions, keeping possession, and when we have possession, you usually put the other team under pressure a little bit. I thought we were fortunate to be up 2-0 at halftime. Ledyard had some quality chances in the first half, and obviously Sammy makes a difference up top, but the second half's a much better start for us, I think.
Well, you kind of whispered over to me. That's the kind of play I'm talking about here in the second half.
Well, the first half we didn't have a lot of great movements, a lot of great moments moving the ball. I thought here in the second half we'd already had a couple great times where we've knocked the ball 6, 7, 8 passes. So second half we're off to a better start.
So number 14, DeCastro, that scored that goal, is he your son?
I think that's.
Where did he learn how to play the game, huh?
His mom.
Casey, coach.
That's the answer of a husband right there. Nice job, and I have no doubt that the DeCastro family probably had a soccer ball on his feet at maybe 2 months, 3 months old.
Yeah, kid's even better hockey player.
Oh, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that.
I'm just telling you, kid's even better hockey player.
I don't want to hear that. Come on.
Yeah, kid's got it going on. But what a goal, though. It's just. Everyone on the team loves the kid. He does all the groundwork. He does all the stuff that no one else wants to do. So DeCastro, to get a great goal, first game of the year, good for him. Good for him. Kids love him on the team. It's good energy.
The Bears with a 4-0 lead here as we're not even 10 minutes into the second half. That's a blitz of a 7-minute mark, really, that they came out just firing on all cylinders. And you can see the energy level has turned up dramatically for the Bears. Ball back in the box. Everyone wants to get into the action now.
Yeah, it's easy to go forward, Easy to go forward. When it's 4-0 now you can open things up a little bit. And now coach can look at his bench too. Like this is, both teams can look at some things and say, all right, what do we want to accomplish for the next one? So, Ledger's got one in them. They got a couple in them. They got Pollard, it's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
Here's a chance through the middle. Washington tried to run through, but taken away and played through the back by the Bears. And they'll play it back. And here's a name I haven't had to say in a while. Tavares, the keeper for Stonington, hasn't had to have his name mentioned here in the second half.
I know, and he's okay with that.
Oh, absolutely.
He's okay with that, Look at the outfit, too. Come on. Looks like a keeper, doesn't he? Is that what you wore?
I wore bright colors. I had an in at Royce.
Oh,
the great John Susie.
That's right.
Waterford product. Goalie extraordinaire at Central Connecticut State University. He gave me all of his Royce gear that he had when he played at Central.
They always had a little pink in Royce.
Oh, absolutely.
Royce had the fuchsia.
I wore a lot of bright colors, which when you're not very good is not what you want. Because I stood out like a mallard duck when I was letting those goals go by. The first game I ever was the keeper on it was a scrimmage. We scrimmaged, and I couldn't even tell you the team. I was scrimmaged, and I didn't get a shot on goal in the entire first half.
Got an injury right here. I think it's a little pearl over here. That's not good. It's not what you want to see right now.
He's okay. He's not in his head. We'll give him a second, see what happens. I didn't get a shot on goal. I stood at one point with my back leaning up against the post. I was like, this is going to be boring. And my goalie coach was George Rivera.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And I said to George, at halftime, I said, this goalie thing is really boring. And he looked at me, and he said, "You got to be careful what you're saying here." He said, "You haven't, it's not boring." And I was like, "I haven't even had a shot on goal." In the second half, I don't know what happened, but I think they got to play with 16 players.
It wasn't
in the second
boring.
half.
It wasn't boring.
It was not boring. I looked great in my teal and fuchsia Roy shirt, but goalie can be a dangerous and lonely place at times, and Tavares has done a great job. But right now, Stonington looks like they're playing with 16 guys on the field. I mean, just you're like, there's 5 guys on the ball, and then when the ball plays back, there's 5 guys there, and you're like, do they have extra people? It just looks like they're
moving off the ball so much
well.
better. Like, this is night and day from the first half to now. They're moving off the ball well. They're you can hear them up here. They're communicating with each other, but think about it. Coach DeCastro has been coaching these kids for what, 8, 10 years? Like, these kids all came up together, and Paul coached them as young kids. So now they're young adults, and he's done a great job. So I think this is the Stonington team that's going to be tough to reckon with this year.
See what hopefully they'll have a chance to play. Here's a through ball that was run on by Fieldsend, but Fieldsend couldn't get there in time. Tavares will clean it up for.
Yeah, Tavares was in good position there. Off his line, ready for anything. But then again, when you get those back 4 in front of you, you're going to listen. But what an invite! What a venue! Look at this place.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful at night too. The school's beautiful.
Yeah, people got to come out here. Got to see this.
This is not the Ledyard High School of the '80s that I remember.
No. This is state of the art. This is what it's all about. And congratulations to City. Like, now that I'm in my position, I give them a lot of credit. Good job, City Council. Good job, Board of Education. Good job, residents, supporting this endeavor. What you built was some dreams here, for decades.
Well, you know what it takes to get something, to get a building project,
right?
An education off the ground. It's not easy.
No, it's not. And kudos to everyone, Colonel Nation. I mean, good for them.
We're down now, finally back under 30 minutes. It was, hard to believe that the second half's only been going on for 10 minutes. It feels like Stonington has been just dominating for quite a while, but it's only been 10 minutes here in the second half as they put up 2 quick goals to match the 2 goals that they had in half number 1. And of course, as we go farther on, we always have we run the risk of the dreaded roster exceptions coming into the game.
Let's see if Sam can shake that one off. A little turn of an ankle. Yep.
Playing possum, I think, right now. And that's going to go on the far side of the goal. And there's a chance for the Bears, but we're going to say they're offsides. We're going to head back the other way.
Boy, these balls are dangerous, though. You at Stonington, just well coached. The kids are getting service in the box, putting pressure on. No wasted opportunities. And, it's, Paul's style. You get in the attacking third, you get an opportunity. Put it on goal.
Nice ball up ahead, Fieldstein. The freshman, Sebastian Fieldstein, and
that's okay.
Get rewarded with a throw in. And they're going to send.
Is that Washington? Is that the younger Washington now?
Yes, Chris Washington, the sophomore. He's a big kid.
God, isn't he?
Holy cow.
Yep.
And he's going to come back and do it all over again.
Well, when they shifted over, I was told by Coach Glennie that he shifted over to soccer when they talked about football not being able to go full contact. So
that is a big young man.
Switch. Yeah, he did a little switch there. Good for him. Get a chance out here to play with his brother.
I could see him with a helmet on. Fighting for the ball and out of the pack. Bears come ahead of it. A nice little touch on the outside, just out of bounds though. Off the foot of DeCastro. Couldn't quite get it to Lindenmeyer.
Good ball there. Just get your width.
There we go. Switch fields. A lot of space over there now. Nice touch ball. That's a beautiful return. Nice run by the Bears in front. Oh, beautiful job by Washington. I like that play. He went out and attacked the ball, went through the offensive player.
For a young player to get after that and win that ball.
We're going to get a corner kick far side.
Ball's moving.
But Stonington's just got to be thrilled with how they played here in the early part of the
They're just
second
whipping balls in. I mean, these guys are just whipping balls in, putting pressure on Ledyard.
Low ball, dangerous, in front, cleared by Ledyard, but retained by Stonington. They'll play it back through their own defensive end, and they'll run it back through, and nice calm. I like that.
Well done there.
And this is where Stonington, if they want to, can take air out of it too. I mean, they can just, they can play around here through the middle.
And that's what, Coach, these guys they got a lot of respect for each other's programs. They know. I think I had Katie Shepard, U.S. national team.
Yeah,
we were up like
she
3.
was okay.
She was pretty good. We'd be up 3-0, 4-0. It was done. We were over it. And she was the first one to say, let's knock it around. That's enough. We're good. So these guys have a lot of respect for each other, these programs, these coaches.
And there's a delicate balance between sportsmanship and embarrassing a team through sportsmanship. In other words, I had a team, we were getting beat really badly, and the opposing coach told his players to just go and swing at all 3 pitches and intentionally strike out. And it became, but that was more embarrassing. We'd rather them score the 20 runs.
Correct.
It was more embarrassing for our kids to see them do that.
Well, soccer's easier, man. You can just play the ball. You can knock it around. You can change point of attack. You can play combination play. You can do things in the middle third of the field. There's just
But you have to have the subtlety
things
to do it, and I give them credit because it's very easy to sort of embarrass the opponent by not trying.
Correct.
But that's a beautiful part about soccer, as you mentioned, is you can work on your skills.
Yeah.
And still not and not attack.
Yeah. He told him, hey, we want to have 10 corner kicks right now, or we want to have 5 corner kicks in the next 10 minutes.
Or I want to see change of field in the on the backside. I want you to change fields every chance you can and work the middle, work the spacing, and whatever the message is, it's clearly they've taken some of the air out of it right now, which I think is fascinating. Just that, there's it looked like for the first 10 minutes they were in full press mode, and now it looks like they're in a little bit more of a, clock management mode. Just kind of let the game play a little bit.
Yep. And they also might know, guess what? If we score again, coach is going to take us out.
That's true. Then we are going to see the non-roster players.
So, they might be smarter than we think, Case.
Yes, we don't want it to be already where the first time of, I don't have a number 17 on my roster.
Right.
Peter makes mention that the Stonington roster has everybody that's played soccer in Stonington, all the way down to the elementary school level. It's a large roster. I think we're covered on that side.
Yeah, when you're number 37, you got a lot of kids on your team.
Bears playing on the outside. Nice patient move.
Ooh.
Ball in the corner now. Put on goal, far post, and a jumping attempt by Lindermeyer to get a head on it, but it was just a little too tall for the senior.
Yeah. You can see Ledyard getting a little tired, right now. Turn the ball over,
Some nifty footwork from Peyton Luther, the freshman.
Good run by Pollard if he kept going.
Got the ball back on the foot of Luther, but it was just a little bit too strong. But Pollard comes running back there. I like Pollard's energy.
A small thing. That was a small thing. Pollard made that great diagonal run, create space behind him, and Washington saw it, played behind Pollard. It's just, those are just next level players, They could be easily frustrated right now, and they're continuing to play, continuing to, to stick to the script here.
Down 22 minutes remaining here in the second half. 4-0. Stonington on top of Ledyard as you watch Game Day live on theday.com. Casey O'Neill along with the coach, Rob Brule. The sports doctor, Keith O'Brien, is down there on the sidelines. He's chit-chatting with Mike DeMauro right now, the dream team.
It is a little dream team over there. Look at them all pointing. You see those two just pointing at everything?
I actually had suggested, and Peter, you're in my ear right now, I had suggested that a live content show for the day would be to have Mike DeMauro and Keith O'Brien move into the same apartment together. and would that not be a show worth watching for the members of the public?
it's a real shame that COVID stopped us from doing that because we were about to do it.
I mean, that was gold. I mean, we were pretty sure that was going to be the most watched show. I mean, just think about the episodes. Forget Felix Unger back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, the Odd Couple, those two right there, that would have been
4,000 likes.
Oh, that would have been fabulous. I can't even imagine the viewership on that.
Yeah, it's been shared.
Who knows?
Funny.
Who knows what we might come up with in the spring, though? You never know. Spring, you never know.
That's right. Good run out over the back. Look at that.
That's beautifully done. Look at the 4 across. Look at the space right there. Shot and a beautiful job by Ledyard on getting a foot on it. Head ball just wide, and out it goes. He had a chance at goal number 4.
He wants that. He wanted that again. I think he scored 4. I was talking to Glennie before, Coach Glennie before the game. Scored 4 last year. So this is not uncharted territory for for Sam. And tell you what, fill in the shoes of Tyler Fidrich. We haven't said much about Tyler. Doing some great stuff up at UConn right now. Player of the year last year, All New England player. You lost a big player.
Yeah.
And look at this team. They haven't missed a beat.
Well, last year, so much of Montalto's success came by putting away all the opportunities that he had, in part because he wasn't the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And, he got a lot of one-on-ones, and he was so physically imposing. He was able to do a lot of great work. But now he's going to be dealing with the double teams and the triple teams, and he seems to be embracing it.
So true. And his body, I mean, you can tell he put the work in the offseason. He's stronger. I talked to Coach DeCastro before the game, and he said, he was out. He's hit the gym. He's getting stronger. He's doing the things he needs to do to get to the next level. And think about it. That's all a lot of these kids want to do. Get to the next level.
.5 minutes here remaining at Ledyard High School, and the Bears well on their way, comfortable 4-0 lead.
Casey, one unusual thing that people might notice is the sound of cheerleaders in the background here. Not a common sight or sound at a soccer game. Talked to Jim Bunicor, the athletic director, a couple days ago. Part of it is because this is a special night, the unveiling of the new field, but part of it is he's just looking for opportunities for the cheerleaders to get out and do something. They can't stunt. They can't practice their throws and pyramids right now. And with football maybe not happening, he's just trying to get them out and active. And it's a nice touch, especially with the small crowd.
That's a great point, Peter. And one of the things that I had talked about when sports first came back onto television, that the first game I watched was the Mets-Yankees in an empty Citi Field. They didn't have the pumped-in crowd noise. They didn't have any of the spectators, obviously, and it was weird. It was. I didn't feel like, but very quickly, as they started to pump in the sounds of baseball, I made mention that it was really audio for me. That I was able visually to forget about it as long as I could hear the sounds of baseball, which meant crowd noise. You're right, Peter. The cheerleaders, they go unnoticed. As far as they blend in so nicely. It feels like sports should. There's cheerleaders in the background. But your point about them not being able to do their stunts, I mean, we at the day have a great appreciation for the cheerleaders, as the cheerleading championships have been one of my favorite things to broadcast. And the girls and boys of the cheerleading competitions have been ridiculous in how talented and athletic they are. And so one of the things we promo is that in the fall, they cheer for everyone else. That's why in the winter when they get the spotlight, it's so welcome, because all year long they cheer for everyone else. And with their season, with their competition up in the air, it's really great to see the cheerleaders out here tonight cheering on their soccer team.
Well, way to hold on to that ball. I think just to follow up what you and Peter were just saying. Think about these kids having the opportunity. That shows you the level of professionalism for Coach Bunicor. To think that far ahead, to give these kids an opportunity to be out here on a special night, but to be part of sports in general. These kids are hybrid models. So these kids are cohorting. This is probably the first chance that all these kids get a chance to see each other. So
Montalto with a chance, puts it past, gets a hand on it, and
What a
McLeod
save.
gets it out of there and saves it. Sports Doctor. His guy just made a save. You got Coach Glennie.
Yeah, Coach Glennie, listen, talk about that goal right before the half. You guys were hanging tight, 1-0 and 2-0. And is that just a deflating thing for your team going into the locker room?
Yeah, it definitely didn't help matters. I mean, at 1-0, you can kind of, right the ship a bit right there. But to give a goal up with 2 seconds left when, the only thing that can happen on that free kick is bad things for us, and we didn't get back behind the ball. So, yeah, it's a 1-0's manageable, 2-0 against this team is tough.
So with a young team like you have now, too, in the last, say, 25 minutes or so, 15 minutes of the game, what's the message that you guys will take off the field?
Well, I mean, we've got a practice day tomorrow, and then we get Fitch on Saturday, and they swept us last year. So, I mean, we opened with the 2 teams that were really the only 2 teams that beat us last year. And, there's not going to be much time to think about it. We're going to have to reset tomorrow and, go to the Quantic Plains on Saturday and paddle a good Fitch team. So, hopefully this will give us a little bit of an eye-opening.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Casey, Coach, listen, it's not easy for Ledyard out of the gate. They're young, but they're hanging in there. Coach?
Yeah, I give good ball there.
Tavares is, by the way, cool as a cucumber back there. I made some notes about the sophomore. He is calm.
It sure is.
I want to make note of the save that was made by Blake McLeod. There was a ball put on goal right when we were sending it over to the coach, and Reynolds, the defender, came up to clear it and whiffed. Just completely whiffed on it, which, as well as he's played tonight, he's allowed. He's allowed one. But McLeod didn't flinch, which is really hard to do because when a defender comes and tries to swipe at it with your leg, it's really easy to sort of misread what's going on. And McLeod stood his ground and made a really, really nice ground save, which was not easy.
Yeah, he did. He stayed with it. And it was a goal-saving save. I mean, that would have gone in if he wasn't paying attention. And how about that shot that he just saved at the end there? Another goal-saving save.
Yeah, he's despite the 4-0, he has played well tonight. Yep. I can't think of, not one of those goals that they scored was due to any direct thing he did. It was entirely just, really great opportunities for Stonington.
Right, yeah.
Goal number 1 was point blank. Goal number 2 was point blank. Here's a race to the ball, and he wins it.
Another great play by him.
Out of the pack comes Pollard with the ball, and he loses it. But Pollard's worked hard.
Yes. Only so much he can do, though. They're getting drawn deeper and deeper, to help out defensively, and you're looking for them to be the outlet. So
here comes Pollard with the ball down the middle, has some
Washington.
space. Oh,
yeah, there's Pollard.
It is. Now Washington, shot, and a
Unlucky.
side of the net. Pollard with the shot that time. It was Washington down the middle. Pollard with a chance on the outside, and he banged it into the side of the net.
Tell you, but you got a glimpse of what those two can do, though. Like that's what you're going to see a little bit more of this as the year goes on. Pollard,
And next year, they're only juniors. Next year, those two will be running roughshot on the ECC, I'm sure.
Yeah, they will.
And Coach Glennie made a good point that Fitch swept them last year too. Fitch, a team that we don't talk about a lot, but Fitch was very good.
They are.
They are finalist, ECC finalist, and
goal.
Nope. Oh. Tavares was he is to quote the late Stuart Scott, cool as the other side of the pillow. But now you see Ledyard starting to turn it up a little bit on their end, giving some opportunities at goals that they have not had. But they have not been able to break the seal. 4-0 Stonington.
Right.
There's a miscommunication that time between Fieldsend and Washington. Fieldsend wanted Washington to go, and Washington stayed
clearly did not want to go.
No, Washington, I think, was like, I'm good on this one right here.
He was pointing. Washington was pointing to his feet. Yeah. Give me the ball at my feet, like any other great forward wants.
And we're going to see some substitutes. There's Ben Town coming into the ball game for Ledyard, the senior.
Seeing both teams get some players in because they both got to play Saturday, so both teams are getting some players in, get their jitters out.
Yeah, I'd like this. I'll be curious to see Ledyard's effort against Fitch on Saturday because obviously they played a great first half, gave up that deflating goal, and
Right.
then just got blitzed in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But since then, have in fact weathered, gotten some opportunities. I mean, again, there's a lot to like, a lot to build off of, and I'll be curious to see what their effort is like against Fitch on Saturday.
Yep. Yep.
Change of fields, Stonington.
It's the young Washington there.
Yeah, he's a big kid. I could see him.
See him playing football.
Oh yeah. But as a keeper, I like seeing him right in front of my.
So do
I like seeing him right in front of my anchoring my defense.
Yeah. Well, you're going to see if he can head the ball right now because it's coming right to him.
Here comes the long throw from DeVoe. Oh, puts this one right on net. The Colonel's got a head on it. And out of the pack here comes Washington.
See, you see how far back Washington's coming back now?
He's got to help, yeah.
He's doing so much work in the middle third of the field now just to come back and help. You know, you're leaving out with Pollard. Pollard's coming out now to get a well-deserved break. He's probably not happy he's coming out, but
Michael Epperson, the senior, coming
Smart.
in for Pollard. Nathan Vidal with it. Now the Bears reclaim, and Washington steps to. A little physical in the midfield, and Eric Stein gets it over handball, and Ledyard will turn. Mason Day. So everyone getting some run here tonight on the new turf.
yeah, last 10 minutes. This is where, like a Washington, you got to keep an eye out. You want to make sure he stays healthy, and that's where you look at your core guys. Under 10 minutes. Game's already probably decided. I'd like to see him whip one in right now and have a seat.
Washington will take the direct kick. Washington will take the direct kick. Ball sitting on the 25-yard line of the turf. So it's a 35-yard kick. Low liner in front and cleared. Still in play. Put back in. And Tavares.
He was ready. Tavares was coming out. He was coming to get it.
I like the aggressive goalies. I do.
I do too.
You're going to make some mistakes, but at the end of the day, that confident, you want to have a goalie that feels like they take charge. Before long, he won't be a sophomore anymore. He'll be the guy in control back there.
I know. Right now, he's not talking at all. He's not even making eye contact with people. Next year, we'll see him. He's yelling at people.
That's right.
2 years from now, he's like, "Give me my water." Yeah, it's great watching these young guys, especially with DeCastro's program. He's got it dialed in. He's doing the work at the youngest ages, and everyone now it's a program. It's always been good teams out there, but now it's a program.
So with 8 minutes remaining here and counting in the ball game, Ledyard trying to see if they can get one on the board, and Stonington wants to pitch that shutout for their sophomore tender. Right now, Tavares is going, man, a shutout would be really great. Be kind of cool. A shutout sounds pretty awesome.
This is easy. Yeah, those guys in front of them are working hard, though. They're not giving much up. They're just not giving much up.
Nice little spin move by Burton. Puts it all the way back in. Tavares is going to let it sail out. In the great movie Bull Durham, Nuke LaLoosh has a shutout going and says to himself on the mound, "Oh, I've never had a shutout before. That'd be kind of cool." Then he shakes off Crash Davis, who tells the next guy to pitch. Hits it off the bull for a home run.
So he tells him didn't he tell him to pitch?
Yeah. So right now Tavares is down there going, "I've never had a shutout before." Defense. I'm not saying a word. You guys just keep pitching that shutout for me.
Yeah, he hasn't blinked all game. He's like, "Can't believe I'm playing."
Yeah, I mean, these guys want a state championship.
I know. Now you're the youngest kid on the team playing goalie. And now your parents have to sit alone because they can't handle the stress.
just under 7 minutes
A lot
remaining.
of these kids are both teams getting valuable minutes right now,
Yeah.
Case. Like
Yeah.
that's really
That's how you build programs.
like when we're commentating this game. You're looking at minutes. You're looking at time on the field.
There's a high ball. Tavares reads it well.
Held on to it.
Oh, I love the transition here. I love the transition. Recognized it right away, went opposite. Now the whole middle of the field is open up. Very well done. That's nice.
Yep. Didn't force it.
Oh, there's a whiff and a chance. DeVoe whiffed on it, but quickly recovered. That's a nice veteran move. Back through the Stein lost it out of bounds for the Colonels, but Stonington will have a throw, and we're going to get another sub. I think we're going to see DeCastro come off.
Yeah, played a nice game in there. He's a steady Eddie,
Junior Billy DeCastro got his goal.
Got his goal, but just kind of took control of the game.
Yep, three goals from Montalto and one from DeCastro. And like you said, DeCastro does all the dirty work, all the glue stuff, the stuff you don't see.
Yep.
He's the one that the coach, when he watches, when the coach watches film, says, "You did everything right." And no one knows it unless you know what you're watching.
Exactly.
There was a.
And he's and the kids love him. Like that's what's great, and being a coach's kid, a lot of pressure on you.
It was actually Jim Bunicor, Coach Bunicor in football. We were talking. He was talking up one of his linebackers, who I had not thought was, I did not think of as one of his prominent players.
Yeah.
And he said, my best defensive player is this kid. And I said, really? This kid's got more sacks. This kid's got more tackles. He said, he goes, he's responsible for the read of which gap to go to. And last game, he had 22 reads, and he made 21 correct reads out of 22. He goes, that's why he doesn't make any of the tackles. The guy who he freed up makes the tackles. But if he gets it wrong, it's a big play. And I said, no one will know. He goes, no one will know that, but the coaches and his teammates.
Yep.
And that's the kind of work that DeCastro did tonight. No one but his coaches and his teammates know just how good, he played on, because they're looking at 3 goals from Montalto and the throw-ins from DeVoe, but it's those subtle, the proper reads, the proper decision-making, the subtle little defensive things that he did in the middle.
Yep. Yeah, well said. Well, you know it too. You're a coach's kid. You know what it's like. Everyone's watching. And that's, it's classy when you can step up and be that leader and be that good player and be that great teammate. It's easy not to be all those things when you're a coach's kid.
Absolutely.
So it's awesome.
That's my.
Hope your dad's doing well too. Tell him I said hello.
My father, who is going to turn, believe it or not, he's going to turn 76 years old in December.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is hard to believe, because at 75 years old, he shot his age 4 times this year at Great Neck Country Club and won the flight championship, not the senior flight championship, but the open flight championship, defeating people 40 years younger than he.
Wow.
At his age. He is still an incredible competitor, and I think that there's a lot of people who would just like to see him retire from golfing at this point too. They like, just go away.
Yeah, I remember working for him down at Watford High School. He was a great guy. I learned a lot from him, and great coach, man.
He still says you're one of the great hires in Waterford history.
Well, he was a good coach, good man. So tell him I said hello.
I will. My poor son is now figuring out what it means to be a coach's son. At 12 years old,
poor kid.
At 12 years old, he goes, "Dad, do I have to say hi to everybody after the game?" I said, "Yes." Yes.
Hey, your son's in good shape. I'll tell you what, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, man.
Yes,
You're top notch.
He's just like his mother.
Yeah,
exactly.
See
what
you
I did?
and DeCastro.
See what I did?
You guys both can go home and eat dinner. That's great. Well, it's good to see these guys, like these numbers out here, these kids out here playing right now who've been putting in the work, with COVID and everything else. They're the ones showing up too. So it's good to see them getting some playing time.
Well, that's a nice run through the middle of the field, but empty, but a nice run. Drew Johnson with a good effort.
You got Cameron out there, number 17, working hard for Ledyard still, getting valuable minutes tonight. He's only getting better and better each and every minute.
Hune with a throw in. And now far post, but nothing there. Now we're under 2 minutes remaining here as Johnson collects it and fires a shot on goal, and that's going to sail wide. And we have a change in goal, by the way, I believe, for Ledyard. I think Aiden Acor is in the game now as the new keeper for Ledyard. So more than just the players on the field giving an opportunity to play tonight. But we have something a little bit new that we're going to be debuting. Happy to hear about it. We are going to have both a player of the game and a top play of the game. So what I need you to do right now is I just need you to think in your mind what you thought the top play of the game was tonight. I already have my choice, but
I got mine too.
And we'll confer. And normally I'd ask the sports doctor, but he doesn't know anything about soccer. So
is he still sleeping over there?
Yeah, no, he's awake.
All right. Sports doctor.
Hey guys, what's going on? I'm all right.
Do you have any thoughts on the top on what was tonight's top play? Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
I do, and I got a little sneaky idea in the player of the game too. So both of them may come from the same player. How's that?
Cat's out of the bag.
All right, sports doctor. Way to tease the audience there. Spoiler alert.
I'll see you guys at the 50-yard line when I'm done.
All right, sports doctor. But we should say that now would be a good time just to remind everybody to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Game Day CT, where tonight, after the game, you can see the sports doctor's interview with the Waterford Dental Health Player of the Game and see tonight's Waterford Dental Health top play. Now, those guys will be smiling, of course, being the player of the game and the play of the game. And if you're going to be smiling, why not have a perfect smile? Because great smiles start at Waterford Dental Health. So after the game tonight, get on our social media, Facebook and Twitter. Check out the player of the game and check out the play of the game tonight. Late chance over the top. Stonington wanted to put one more in. Lindenmeyer had a chance as the buzzer sounds, and that is the end of the ball game. 4-0. The Stonington High School Bears complete a shutout. Congratulations on a hat trick to Sam Montalto. Congratulations on the shutout to sophomore Brandon Tavares. And a big thank you to our sponsor, the Burns Agency. Like Game Day, the Burns Agency is always local and live. We focus on local community, and you will always get a live person on the phone. Think about that. In this world where you can never get a live person on the phone, the Burns Agency guarantees it. There will be a person on the other end of that phone. So remember, you buy better at Burns. Tune in to Facebook and Twitter later on at Game Day CT, and the Sports Doctor's interview with the Waterford Dental Health Player of the Game and the Waterford Dental Health Top Play will be on there. Now,
Not live, Keith.
we're not gonna tell you
We're gonna come down and tape it.
who the play of the game is. You're gonna have to tune into that and see it yourself. But the player of the game is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
It is Sam Montalto. He of the hat trick. Congratulations to Sam, who really changed the complexion of the game when he scored that first goal. And so he will have that interview with Sam as well as the Waterford Dental Health play of the game. You can smile and watch it later on tonight. So it was fun. We got to see the turf get dedicated tonight. We saw Bill Mignault Field, the grand opening of this beautiful complex. A fine ball game, 4-0 Stonington. Your final thoughts tonight, Coach?
Great effort just to be out here. I mean, Ledyard, what a great host, what a great place, what a great venue. Congratulations to them. I keep saying that, especially during a tough time, to pull this off for you guys, to do this each and every year, to give people a chance at home to watch this, to play it back. Great game. Obviously, some individual moments that were just brilliant and good stuff, and we expected it. Case. So I think the best players played great soccer tonight, and I thought you saw a great team win a game, and I thought you saw a young team that's going to be next year a handful. It was just great to watch. Two great programs, two great teams. Good things are yet to come from these guys, and it's just a pleasure to be here.
As always, we want to thank the coach, Rob Brule, for bringing with us. Tomorrow night, we're going to actually be right back here at Ledyard High School, potentially. So tune in, pay attention, follow along. We have hopes of bringing you the high school football 7-on-7 and lineman competition. Of course, in the fluid situation that is COVID, day by day, things change. So it is our hopes to bring you that game tomorrow night. But tune in and see what's what. Either way, there will be more. Like I said, as long as games are being played, we will be there. We have volleyball, we have boys and girls soccer, we have lots to have for you this year, and we will bring it all to you. So perhaps tomorrow night we will be here. Let's find out. We'll find out, and we'll let you know. But for Connor and Carlos and Peter Wappy and Mike DeMauro and the sports doctor down on the field, the coach Rob Brule, we want to thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm Casey O'Neill. You have been watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Take 5.